Thank you. You can sit. Because of time, we'll not be taking that. I want also to tell us that because of time frame, we have allocated time for each program that we have. So please, whatever you have, no matter how voluminous it is, try to see how you can summarize it. Like I said before, we are more interested in the way forward because we all know the problem. Mr. President, Nigerian community, we'll call on you to give us a welcome address. Please, Mr. President, your welcome address should not be more than 5 minutes. Anything 5 minutes, I will stop you, sir. Sorry.
Who are the organizers of the symposium? The Nigerian community or the embassy?
Well, before I started, I said that this is Nigerian community, Russia, and we are organizing symposium and debate. The reason why is as a result of the political atmosphere in Nigeria that we want to have a share among ourselves. We have, I will talk about this later more, have some of our members here who will be telling us some things we need to know because there is unity in coming together, in sharing and brainstorming. There is also a reason why we should also come together to discuss issues that concerns us. Nigerian community is of course organizing this, and the Nigerian embassy is also invited for this program. So I think that answers the question, sir.
Thank you very much, Moderator. I know why they threw that question from the audience. Maybe because the way he authoritatively say, President, I give you 5 minutes. Of course, the people who love their leaders are supposed to wonder why did he give such order to the president. But also, your president is a humble man and very teachable, so we have to follow the rule. We are all servants, and this event is organized by Nigerian Community Russia. That's why when you come down, no, those who come here did not see the banner, but our banner is there in the entrance, our new banner. So also here is Nigerian community. We are all Nigerians under the umbrella of Nigeria, though we have sub-organizations under the mother umbrella. So this event today, the long-awaited days have come today. And today we are going to tap from our intellectuals, from their intellectual tanks. There are issues. Today, as the moderator said, this event is just to, most of the problem we know, but every issue we are going to discuss, we need the way out. This is the problem. This is what causes, that's why we're so long in it. And that is the solution, and this is the way out. Then we allow us to gain and know how to handle even the small places we are taking care of. Because we are learning from each other. I see some special men. Before I will go further, I already make it as a commitment that any program we have, there are people we cannot ignore. No matter the time and the short time, no matter, we must recognize them. And for me to do it, it's a privilege for me to do it. There are people who are, Nigerian community, we have executives. I am the president, but we have vice president. Though she's not here now, Madam Leshe Omobudi. And also we have our General Secretary, who is here, Tony Ebo. Mr. Tony Ebo is there, sitting. Also, we have our welfare officer, Nze Ike Ume, is there at the back. So we have a legal advisor, Nigerian community, Russia, Dr. Tony Abu is here in the front here. Also, Nigerian community, we have our financial secretary, Mrs. Queen Ayide, is here also with us. You're welcome. And also, we have our Welfare and Sports Secretary, Mr. Shima Akanna, is here with us. And though the Secretary of our Student Affairs, Comrade George Ewele, is not here yet now, maybe they will still come. Many people would like to come maybe later, but they will not keep us not to continue. And also, Nigerian community is a legal entity. It's not just a gathering. It's not just but it's a legal entity. We give account to the federal government of Russia every quarter. We pay tax. We have been started doing it for over 4 years, almost 4 years. And that's why, to get this statute in Russian Federation, there are people who give out their document, trusting this leadership, give their tax number, even the secret code, all those for this organization to get registered. And those people, call them our stakeholders, 6 men who sacrifice their documents, and they are here with us. We always recognize them. And they are here. Dr. Maurice Okori is here with us. You're welcome. And also, Barrister Julius Alirikuzo, our stakeholder, you're welcome, sir. And also, Dr. Tony Abu is also our stakeholder. And the Elder Joshua, Mr. Joshua, some of you will know Mr. Joshua, our brother that's also runs restaurant. He said he will come, but he may come late because there's a new place they just opened, so they need his attention. He's supposed to be here. And also, we had Dr. Andula. Andula, he said he will come, but he may come later because of the wife has some health problem. So he's taking care of it, and they have to rush to work today. For 1 week, have not been at work. So from here, he will try and create time maybe to come. I said, okay, no problem. So this is the people that give out their call them stakeholders. So please, only the way you see these people, respect them. There are people too who have been in this leadership before us. And by the course of this process, you also know them, will recognize their presence, like Dr. Bashir is here too, with us, former president of Nigerian community. This is already keep this organization moving before us. And also, Dr. Samuel Abayomi is there with us. Doctor, welcome. And this is the leaders who have gone through this post. I am privileged to serve. Thank you. And the other people, stakeholders who are here with us, and we recognize your presence. The chairman of NATO, Russia, Mr. Lex, is here with us. You're welcome. And please, I would like us to, I know that this event, in the course of it, there will be a lot of tension, emotion. When people are beginning to throw, maybe question, we need to calm down, because what we are going to say here is going to be published, nation and international, and it's going to be documented, that if somebody can go there anytime in the YouTube and wherever, and they get it. So what we are doing is the official. Russian television, they are calling me, even now I was down, they say, how are they going to enter? But I don't know if they will meet up to me, or how, when they are they going to come, because many people are interested. Nigeria is a hot country, that everybody is a potential country, everybody wants to know. Please, I want us to be positive, effective, put our trust in. It is not issue. Let's go to the event. Point you on the question and also the mode of conduct. So the second moderator is conference, and we appreciate everyone. We have refreshment at the end. Also, he will tell us we also have a general picture. Thank you very much, and we recognize your presence. Thank you once again, and may God bless and help us. And after today, we'll come out with tangible solutions to our great nation, Nigeria. Thank you, and God bless.
Please, let's put our hands together for him, please. Okay, the moment has come. I think we have to change the atmosphere of the room and make it more vibrant. When we say clap, everybody should clap. It's it makes the voting more interesting. So having said that, Mr. President, thank you for the opening remark. At least you try to keep within the time frame. The time is very important. Now let me go straight to the modus of operandi. I want to start by saying that, number one, please, if anybody wants to say anything, please raise up your hand. That is the first thing. We are recognized, just signal, anywhere you are. If you are asked to say it, then you can throw your questions. And if you don't want to stand up and say it, you can write it down. Then we'll pick it up. Secondly, please, we must try as much as possible, especially the presenters, to avoid hate speech. No matter how emotional you are, no matter how you feel, please, you must try to accord respect to whatever you are going to say. It's not by calling somebody's name or saying anything that we can get a meaningful something out of anything, but it is how you present it that matters. So please, we must try as much. I will stop anybody that want to make any inflammatory statements. So hate speech, please try and avoid it. If you have written it down, please try to see how you can remove it or not take hate speech here. Secondly, we are going to call the presenters to the high table. They will be here sitting and looking at us while they present. And each one of them has been allocated 10 minutes. Let's take these 10 minutes, you start. Then we'll take questions. We have 4 of them that will be presenting as speakers. And each of them will take 10 minutes. That will give us 40 minutes. For each of them, we have 4 questions. We'll have 4 minutes for questions. And that will give us another 20 minutes. And that will give us 1 hour. So for the presenters, we have allocated 1 hour for them for this program. For the debaters, we have also allocated time, but with time we are going to tell you about that. But now we are going to talk about colors in this. Yes, observe.
Talking about Nigeria, 10 minutes is very little.
Yes.
If you really
Even 50 minutes is very small to talk about Nigeria.
Want to something reasonable, when you expatiate, please, we solicit agreement before was 20 minutes. I don't know why it's 10 now.
Well, please, if we check our time, we'll notice that we have far spent our time already. The program was due to start by 3 o'clock. But you see that the time has been far spent, so that is why it has been reduced to 10 minutes. So whatever you have, like I said before, summarize it. If I give you 24 hours, you can still not discuss everything that concerns Nigeria because it is too voluminous. As a result of that, we have to look at the key things, the way forward. Summarize whatever you have, then tell us the way forward. That's all. Let our questions also based on the way forward, what the problems. Already we know the problems. The problem, the major thing is the way forward. So where is the way forward? So please, as I call on them, and as they stand up to come to the podium to have their seat, please let us accord them applause by clapping our hands. So, like I said before, we are talking about the contemporary political situation in Nigeria, the way forward. And then we select the first question to be treated, Nigerian economy. And we'll be looking at an analysis of the challenges and prospects. And we have in our midst a distinguished scholar, a former president of Nigerian community, former chairman of the NIDO Russia, former vice chairman, NIDO Bureau, in the person of Dr. Bashiri. Please, as he stands up, our Bashikola. Sorry. It's Bashiri. Bashir, sorry, doctor. Dr. Bashir Obasikola, please, PhD. Please, assistants or please, let's clap for him. I'm sorry for that. Sorry. All right, so doctor will be telling us about the Nigerian economy, the way forward. We already know the Nigerian economy is having an issue. And the second to the, in line with that, the second speaker we have here is also a well-known colleague here, a distinguished person whose name has already been mentioned in our midst here. We're talking about Mr. Res Osewani. He is the Osenewo. Mr. Res Osenewo. He is the chairman of NIDO Russia, and he will be talking about the security dilemma in Nigeria. Please, can we put our hands together? We have also in our midst a student, a PhD student. Sorry, 1 minute. Let me get, because it seems I'm missing out the name. So, sorry. A PhD student, Mr. Bamidele Emmanuel Ola, is a student of High School of Economics, Moscow, Russia. Please, if he's here, let him come to the podium. Okay, in the absence of him here, we also proceed. As you can see, he's now here. And the last but not the least, in our midst also, we have a distinguished person, a member of a Nigerian community, the Welfare Secretary, Mr. Ike. He will be telling us about the Nigerian politics, vote buying, political assassination, and intimidation. Please, let's put our hands together for him. Thank you very much, and if I have not really called your name very well, I'm sorry about that. And without wasting our time, I'm handing over the microphone to Dr. Bashir Obasikola to start immediately. And please, let's work within the time frame, which is 10 minutes. You can sit, you can also stand, anyone you prefer. Let's put our hands together for him.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I've been, addressed. I'm Dr. Bashir Obasikola. I'm an economist. I know it's not easy, especially during when the political atmosphere is so high, is to talk about economy when everybody is feeling it. So, thank you once again. Thank you to the Nigerian community for organizing this. I think it's an interesting program where we can share what we feel about the situation of things. But before I do that, I want to say that I'm not a card-carrying member of any political party. I'm not going to vote because the diasporans are not voting. So whatever I say here is on my personal perception of situation of things and what I think. And I'm also not, biased, in terms of religion, ethnicity, regional, or any other thing. So whatever I say here is purely, on my own behalf, and that's it. I'm called upon to talk about Nigerian economy. For the time is so short, so I wouldn't be going to the details. We all know it already, and we are feeling it. But sometimes what you feel is not actually what you think. I don't know, amongst all, we have medical students, I guess, if we have medical students. Doctors will tell you that sometimes when you are sick and you are complaining of backache or, or stomach, turning or headache, there are things they will ask you. And they will mostly ask you questions of what you have been doing before. What are the things that you do? And they will tell you that sometimes those things are just symptoms of what you have done before. So the economic situation of Nigeria is not what either the current administration or the one after it or the one after it did, but it's what the foundation is. So the foundation is actually where we should look at. Nigeria, as you know, is an economy that is, so much dependent on oil production that whatever happens to oil price or production affects the economy immediately, especially when you don't have the reserve, unlike some other countries, our peers like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, all those big countries that are also oil producing. Because those countries, they have reserves in terms of big foreign reserves in their portfolio, which makes it easier for them to adapt whenever there's a shock in the oil price. So Nigeria is seriously dependent on oil, and as a result, we are vulnerable to whatever happens in the economy. That's one. Nigeria lacks infrastructure, especially those economic infrastructures. You know what I'm talking about? Power, energy. We don't have enough to improve our manufacturing sector, to impact on manufacturing sector. We don't have railway system, transportation system, road system that would have made cost of production a bit cheaper. Nigeria is an economy that is, dependent on very little resources, whereas our population is growing. So we also have, ordinarily people say population is a plus in any economy. It makes you a giant, a market, your market is so wide, but sometimes it could just be ordinary labor, human resources, but they are not labor because they are not well prepared. No skills, not enough skills that will be useful for the economy. So Nigeria is growing, population-wise, 3%, growth rate, whereas our economy, like I have told you before, dwindling as the oil prices falls, so also the growth of the GDP, falls. You saw what happened in 2016, 2017 when we went into recession. And what happened? Why did we go to recession? I've told you the country was lacking reserves when the oil price started going down. Because if you look at the oil price, also went down during that period. So the economy was in shock. And because there was no buffer, we couldn't cushion it. And as a result, we were where we are. We went into recession. Thank God, after a year and a half, the economy is now growing again. 1.5, 1.2, 1.9, estimated to be 2% this year. But you can see that it's still lower than the growth of the population. So when you talk about the growth of the population, you see the impact. Even in your family, if you have children, your income is going down and you are having more children. You see the impact. So that is the simplest way to put the Nigerian economy because of time. What other things that's peculiar to Nigeria? I mentioned infrastructure. Nigerian, power. Everybody talking about power. Without power, we are not going anywhere. No wonder why God started creating the world. We say, let there be light. Because it is the foundation of anything you do. So those are the things, the challenges that that would have given a more deep insight. But because of time, I won't be able to do that. But what is the government doing about it? What is the government doing about it? The government in different times have tried to tackle Nigeria economy. They want to diversify. We talked about diversification. even in 1980, when 79, 80, during the time of General Murtala Mohammed and Obasanjo, then they also talk about diversification, because they also felt the need to diversify, because the oil is very, very risky to depend on oil alone. They went into agriculture. Then it was declared Operation Feed the Nation. Operation Feed the Nation was also targeted at improving agriculture. They tried, they brought in a lot of things, created cooperatives, created marketing boards, to be able to buy the products from farmers, encourage them to produce higher, with high yielding crops and all those stuff. They tried their best, but then another new administration came in. In 1979, 80, we had the Shagari regime, and he also brought in Operation Feed the Nation. They brought in Operation Feed the Nation, which was also part of the agenda of diversifying the economy, which they all see as a need to do that. They also tried their best, but just like many other programs, beautiful, laudable programs in Nigeria, no continuity, no dedication, no consciousness, of continuity, that people see it as an administration's program, and as a result, once the administration goes away, then the whole thing dies. They also tried their best, but nothing also significant happened because of the fundamentals. And what are the fundamentals over centralization of Nigeria? We have mentioned it severally. People came up with, okay, let there be, restructuring, let there be, regionalization, let there be, creation of states. Of course, they thought, okay, probably the state creation might solve problems. Of course, some of them created states. Of course, at the end of the day, it happens that the states were not viable because they were too much and too little for it. Corruption. Corruption, I don't need to tell you more, you have read enough of it, but just to highlight it as also one of the factors of why we are where we are, because that is the essence of why I'm mentioning them. Well, I've said it, over dependence and unproductive population growth. We cannot pretend Nigeria is growing at a rate that our resources cannot maintain. We need to resolve that issue of population. We need to increase and make sure that we have human capital development, in a sense of more purposeful education. Purposeful education in terms of not just going to have to be literate. Of course, where most of the time Nigeria have been growing into the direction of just being literate. People want to go to university, they just say, oh, I want to go to university. I say, what do you want to go and read? I want to go and read English language, religious studies, history. Of course, those things are good, but you must also think, what do you do with it after finishing? What are the other things? And the curriculum of the education is such that we cannot boldly come out of university and say somebody has another skill apart from what he has read. No business studies. Those things that were in those Nigerian curriculum in those days, they were no more there. So as a result, people will churn out a lot of graduates that are unemployable. Not that because they don't know what they will read, but because the skills that the society requires to develop, they lack it. They don't have it. So the little jobs that are available becomes so difficult to even get, because of the skills that are available are not what the business requires. The government is trying. This current government also came up with ease of doing business. They also, launched a program called Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, which is a very comprehensive, if you study it, a very comprehensive and truly patriotic, nice program, nice economic program that, if well implemented, consciously implemented, Nigeria could go places. Amongst those things that have been highlighted in that program is infrastructure, power, which we have said, railway, which they are, the current government is also doing it, and they are not only saying it. We can see that some of the projects that were abandoned for many years, since 1960, they came up to revive them, which I also commend them for, despite my neutrality in the political situation. So they are trying their best. Like I said, they also came out with executive orders, about 8 or 9 executive orders, different types. But I only mention those ones that I see as economic directives. We have ease of doing business. That's executive order number 1. Tax evasion and money laundering. That's number 8. And recent one, which is on infrastructure. Where they are encouraging private sector to also participate in building infrastructure in Nigeria, road, especially. So I think, and they're fighting corruption, which they are also, doing a lot of there. So what are the solutions? We have said it, that the solution, we don't lack, proclamations of solutions in Nigeria. If you study Nigeria, you discover that we have everything that the developed world has in terms of academical programs. But the problem is the implementation. So to implement them, I've mentioned it that we need restructuring, fiscal restructuring, whereby regions, states, local governments, towns could actually develop themselves and see their resources being applied to what their needs are. Export competitiveness. To have exportation, Nigeria needs more export of goods. And I have said it, the government made a lot of, free zones, economic free zones, which, developed world had used it before. China, all these products from China, actually they were established in economic zones. And to be able to, make them valuable for Nigeria and become an export so that our GDP will grow. Because it is what we export that counts, not what we import. Because Nigeria is so much dependent on importation. Productivity increase. We need to increase our...
Because what Donald Tusk cannot do right now because of time, we said 10 minutes, right? So
yeah.
Time is more than 10 minutes.
Sorry, I'm running up.
So he's supposed to tell you...
Yeah, he has dropped a note for me. He has dropped
supposed to tell you that they are...
Yes. Thank you for notifying us. Productivity, we need to increase the productivity of our labor by equipping and increasing the skills of our labor. Technology, of course, we need more technological development and human beings, and also investment in human beings. People, we had all this, trader money, the other money they are sharing now. It's also part of social investment, which I think it could be reformed and make it more applicable to the needs of Nigeria. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I don't have gun, so I cannot shoot anybody. But please, anytime I signal you or I write you a note, you know that your time is up or close to it. Once I write summarize, you know that, and I write the minutes, maybe 3 minutes, you know that it's up because I can't collect the microphone from your hand. I expected you to just respect that injection. But thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, can I just say one?
Okay, sir.
Well, because while I was coming here, I was told 20 minutes. So my orientation, to be able to properly put up my points, I needed 20 minutes. So, but given the shortage,
yes.
So you should...
That is why
I disobeyed the law.
Okay. Please, let's clap for you, please. That's why I gave up to 15 minutes. I allowed it to reach 15 minutes. Yes, I did. All right, thank you very much. Please, I want us to just agree on something. Do we ask questions now, or we take all the? Then ask. So don't forget what they say.
I want to say something about the time. We have to be very serious on everything we are doing here. This is what is happening in Nigeria. When we say 10 minutes, how we do this. We have already made it very clear before you started the program that because of short of time, we should try and minimize our work and summarize it within framework of 10 minutes. I will suggest that the next speaker should not exceed more than 10 minutes, because if you exceed more than 10 minutes, you will not see anybody here.
Okay. All right, please, thank you very much for your observation, and let us please adhere to the time frame. So we call on the first speaker, Mr. Reyes, to tell us about Nigerian security dilemma, please. A round of applause for him once again, please. He comes on stage. Thank you, sir. Please. Your time starts now, sir.
Thank you very much. I'll try as much as possible to be as brief and go straight to the point. My name, as you have already heard, my name is Rex Esenewo, the chairman of NIDO Russia and a member of the board of trustees NIDO Russia. Before then, I was the vice president of the Nigerian community. I was the general secretary of the Nigerian community, and we've gone a long way. I thank God that the community is carrying up the responsibilities, and we are seeing what we have today. Unfortunately, the issues we are gathering today is not a very pleasant one, because we come from a very proud nation, we come from a very rich nation, we come from a very vibrant youth and a very, very, very interesting nation, diversified, colorful nation. You can call it whatsoever you want. Unfortunately, things are not working. I am a student of political economics. And at the same time, as a business economist also, I try to see things and think logically. When you have problems, you have to think of solutions. Thinking logically means getting the wrong corrected and going forward on the right direction. Nigeria has gone on the wrong direction for so long. I don't want to praise any leader or disengage any leader, but what I want to point out exactly what I see every day, all my life, and what pains me, what pains every citizen of my country, and what I want corrected. That is why I'm here today. The issue of national security. National security is defined as the safety of a state against issues that threatens the nationhood, be it externally or internally. These are issues we have to address. And the dilemma we have today is that we are not addressing the issues as they're supposed to be, because we are not thinking logically. Nigeria is a nation blessed with everything you can think of. Many nations jealous Nigeria, but we don't want to think with our brain. We have a nation that is endowed. I don't want to talk about the natural resources. I don't want to talk about the population, which my colleague, the previous speaker, has already spoken about. If you have something and you want to achieve more, you design a way. That is why we talk about technology. Technology can be physically technology. Technology can be morally, it can be systematic, but it is the design that you make and instill in a system to work. What Nigeria is lacking today is logical thinking, logical application. Even if we think, we have not shown the logical application of what we are having. That is why we're having security issues. We create a situation whereby we push ourselves into a tight corner, and we allow other people to manipulate us so easily. We are talking about national security, the dilemma we have today is that if Nigeria wants to sit on the right path, we have to do things right. Let me be concrete. I want to point, we have lived in Russia for quite a long time. I don't want to go to America, China, or anywhere where we are today. Russia took up 2 moribund projects too. I'm just taking an example. There is no nation on earth. Develop your technology with whatsoever you have. But if you don't have iron, God made iron because it makes it strong. We have iron ore in Nigeria. That is the source, the power of any country in the world to produce real technology. Machine tools, cars, weapons, and so on. So you can name it. Even when you talk about domestic appliances, most of them use iron and steel. We had Russia, which we are living today, come to build a plant for us, which could have solved all the issues concerning iron application, production, manufacturing, distribution, and so on and so forth, which could have given the strength of our economy. Up till today, we are buying plane, we are buying rails, we are buying trains, we are buying weapons, which we could have produced ourselves. And this is a country that has the largest number of engineers in the whole of the continent. Where is the logic? If I want to push you a little bit further, we had Russians come in the second time for aluminium. Let me push over to that side. We took over the aluminium industry. We failed several times. We dumped billions of dollars into that program. And now the Russians came the second time. They took over the thing. They started building. After building, repaid, paid back all the allowances and arrears. And after that, what happened? Immediately after the general director announced that this factory is working now 100%, Nigeria can come over, take over. Now we can supply all Nigerian companies and individuals who need aluminium products. We can supply. And next year we are planning for export. A case was taken to the court from a company attached to another continent. And you took this case to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of the nation sabotaged that program. Where is the logic? The Supreme Court, knowing that this is a moribund project, we're supposed to give the nation upper hand in everything aluminium. Sabotage the program. So what I'm trying to say is that you can apply it to so many other areas. This is just 2 which I'm picking up. Healthcare. Thank you very much. Healthcare. We have failed. You talk about unemployment, creation of jobs. Is it a new technology to create jobs? We have failed. So many governments, one after the other. A population is increasing at 3%, and you are not planning something for, you should be planning for 3% or 5%, 7%, 10%. When you are lacking already, you have so many unemployed youth. You don't have to plan for 3% growth. You have to plan for 10, 15, 20, so as to cover up. It's only when you cover up you are able to stabilize. There are so many issues. And these are all issues of national security. I want to bring us back again that poverty in a nation is an issue of national security. Corruption is an issue of national security. And in order not to take much of the time, because I don't want any warning, please, let me finalize. We have a national budget. The national budget we have is to distribute the wealth we have in the nation, give us some advances to direct, whether it is small or not. I was in this country, and I believe most of my colleagues were in this country, when Russians in the parliament were fighting to add just 10 rubles, I repeat, 10 rubles to pension. I don't know whether those of our elders here still remember that. 10 rubles. They were fighting. Zhirinovsky punching a woman punching. So that was what happened. So I think these are issues we have to revisit. The solution is that we have to start thinking logically, come back to the table. If it is the Constitution that is disturbing, we have to review the Constitution and put the things where we know that there are problems. We have to put them constitutionally endorsed, because without that, we are done, and it's going to take a very long time. Thank you very much. I will wait for your questions.
Okay, thank you very much.
And I understand the importance of today's event. It is to discuss the future of Nigeria. It is to rub minds together to forge the way forward for Nigeria. I want to thank Mr. Rex Sonoho for speaking and reminding that Nigeria must make use of her resources and also start thinking logically. Our next speaker is Nze Ike, and he will be speaking on the culture of vote buying and the avoidance of such. Please let's welcome Nze Ike to the podium. He does have 10 minutes.
Yes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We all know what vote buying is. Trader money is vote buying. Godfatherism is vote buying. Whatever you do to manipulate the electorate financially, knowingly or unknowingly, is vote buying. And the result is very disastrous. Why money politics and vote buying? So many reasons can be adduced as being responsible for the incidence of money politics and vote buying in Nigeria. It can emanate from the ignorance of the electorate, poverty, which is playing a very great role. But generally, we know that this happens even in advanced countries, but it's done in a way that at least the electorate still have their sense of reason. But our people are not as developed mentally to tackle such challenges. And the result is that they are excessively exploited. Why am I saying this? Why do we have these vote buying incidents a lot? Simply because politicians see entering politics as business. They don't see it as an avenue to go and serve humanity. And any opportunity any Nigerian is holding, there is this common language you normally say, what can Nigeria do for me? Forgetting that we should be asking ourselves, what can we do for Nigeria? We don't even think about what we can do for Nigeria because there is no soul. The soul is the center of pivot of everything. The cohesion is lacking. As a country, we don't even have history. The only history we know is what we read on newspapers, maybe through the internet. But teachers like Russians do here, the history of Russia, that patriotism is absolutely lacking. Rather, you see people, especially our youths, develop to become, I would rather say, enemies of the society. Why? Because their attitude to what is happening in the country is so nonchalant that it's worrying. They keep saying, hand over to the youth, hand over to the youth. Is there followership? The followership is not there. Not even the political parties have a good manifestos to present. And that's why they resort to all these meaningless slogans. Before I was leaving my house today, I saw the Commissioner of Happiness in Imo State.
Commissioner of what?
Happiness. Sharing money to children. Imagine, children, 5 years, 6 years, you come to school to distribute money to children. Please, you see, when I look at this kind of thing, I feel so bad. It's disheartening. No matter how we look at it, it's worrying. Somebody can tell me that trader money is not vote buying. It is. Why are they writing the PVC numbers? You want to give money, give money. Why writing the PVC numbers? Prove it and justify why you're doing it. Now, you don't talk about the amount placed on the candidates by the various political parties. If a candidate is supposed to pay $120,000 to participate maybe in presidential election, of course, if he enters there, he must collect that money back. If he pays any amount to even enter local government area, local government chairmanship or whatever, he'll collect that money back. It's all business. Moderator was saying, what do we do? Solution, solution. Of course, there's a common solution. And that solution is we, the electors, realizing that this voters card we hold is very important. We should hold it and defend it as if our life depends on it. If you collect 10,000 naira and make a mistake for another 4 years, that is already minus 4 years from your life. Whether you like it or not.
Minus 4 years of happiness.
Minus 4 years from your life. Because definitely, whoever that sells, who buys vote, is incompetent. If you believe yourself, and you know you can come out and do something for the people, you can never come out to start buying votes. You can never. You should yourself. You should come out and defend it and face it the way it's supposed to be. And these are eating deep in every channel of the society. From morning to night, they keep telling us corruption, corruption. Please, we are corrupt. Accept it or leave it. We are tired of hearing it. The question is, even in America, even Russia here, people are very corrupt. But can you do something if given the money at least? There's no Russian police you stop on the road there and just give him 5,000 rubles. He will take it. But when he sets for him to say finish, you're going in, you're going in. Because he still have a little conscience remaining. But we don't have it as Nigerians. Everybody looks at everything happening in Nigeria from the tribal point of view. Our children are dying. Our mothers are dying. There is no continuity. Everything has been exposed. We don't even know which way to go. Our girls are even in Mali doing prostitution. Mali. All these things are the result of vote buying. And what is the meaning? It means that incompetent people enters into office and they will continue to reap whatever is left in our coffers. Until we have a different mindset, approach to this issue, we will never have a headway. And if we don't have a headway, we are not going anywhere. That's what the whole thing is all about. It's between me and you to educate our brothers and sisters down there. Yes, I know that the pressures are on you. I know you don't have money. I know. I never chop money. I never chop government money. This is an opportunity to chop it. Don't chop it and die. Please go there and cast a vote for who you believe that can do something. That's what we're talking about. That's what decency we're talking about. Stop selling your conscience for peanuts. This is the message we should pass. This is the message the government should embark upon. And this is the message that every right-thinking human being who loves Nigeria at least love yourself. Maybe you don't love Nigeria. Call yourself from any part of the world you want. But love yourself. Think there are people left down there. That is what the result of this buying. Incompetency. People that are not supposed to be there are there. And this not only happening in Nigeria, it even happens outside Nigeria. To the extent that I was meant to believe that, I don't want to be particular, in one of the elections carried out somewhere in Europe that has to do with diaspora, the same process of vote buying happened there. Incompetent candidates took position, and today the aims and aspirations of and the objective of that diaspora has been suffering. Why? Because people that are supposed to be there just are not given opportunity to be there because they don't have that financial wherewithal to handle issues of importance. Very soon we'll be having Nigerian community election. It's not a joke. We need people that will come and move this thing higher. You come out if you can do something for this country, Nigeria. Come and do it. If you cannot do it, you better sit down in your house and sleep. It's no question of occupying that position at the end of the day can do nothing. It's not easy. And bear in mind it's a selfless service. Nobody's paying you nothing for it. If you're not ready, please don't come out. Thank you very much.
Mr. Bamidele Emmanuel Ola for his presentation, Nigerian Education, the Basis for National Development. Please, Mr. Bamidele Emmanuel.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, actually, this is my first time of being in a meeting with Nigerians in diaspora in Russia, and I wouldn't like to take it for granted. The issue of Nigerian education, the basis for development, is a very critical one. And so actually what I have in mind to do is to talk about this 6 issues, just 4, and I wanted to leave the 5th and the 6th for you to decide. And that's why we have question mark there. Now, I'm a student by God's grace, and I'm a PhD student at the Higher School of Economics, as you rightly see. And in my department, we work so much with figures and statistics. So I may be talking from some technical aspects, okay? So, let's go. Thank you. So, the keywords. So these are basic information or introduction about Nigeria. We are all Nigerians, so we know what is happening. But for those who might not really understand what is happening in the country, you can just look here. Right now, Nigeria is 195 million people. If you approximate that, we are 196 million. Of course, an increment compared to what we had at 2006 general population census. So by the year 2050, it's no longer in news that Nigeria is going to be the 3rd most populous country in the whole world. world. Good luck to us. And the GDP of Nigeria, well, is first in Africa, that's gross domestic product, but it does not really translate to the well-being of the people of an average Nigerian. We all know that. The infant mortality rate is 67, is alarming. We cannot even compare it to the rate at the level of West Africa. Now, our GNI, that's gross national income, I believe we have a lot of things to discuss there. Nigeria is 50% urban. So this information is coming from Population Reference Bureau. It's a highly respected statistical organization in the world. And the population below the age of 15 is 44%. So that is massive. So we have a youthful population. But the topic given to me is Nigerian education, the basis for national development. Now, I am a teacher and I've been teaching for like 17 years now, by the grace of God. I started teaching in the year 2000, July. I remember very well. Now, the first two words, Nigerian education. What we need to educate for Nigeria to develop is not Nigeria. We all know that. Nigeria is an abstract. It is the people that need to be educated. I'm talking about the individual Nigerians. These are the key words. Nigeria refers to the people. So it is Nigerian education that we need. And when we say Nigerian, we are talking about every legal citizen of Nigeria, from the north to the south, from the east to the west, and all over the coast. Then education is a process through which the individual acquires appropriate skills and competencies to live and contribute to the development of his society. I picked this from scholarly journals. The basis is the foundation. And when we talk about national, we are talking about something that is typical of the world country, according to the Cambridge Dictionary online that I was able to privilege to get. So development in my own time, because there's so much, in my own time, development means improvement in the level and standard of living. And according to Jeffrey Sachs, for development to be good, it has to be sustainable. And when we say sustainable development, it's not just anyhow development. It's a development that makes use of today's resources without compromising the ability or capacity of the future generation to meet their own needs. This is the kind of development that is advocated all over the world today. So let's just roll on. So we have our historical traces of education in Nigeria. We've seen a lot that education has done to Nigeria. All the people we see that they are Nigeria heroes, from Abat Macaulay to, I believe many of us, except the older ones, do not know this man.
Yes, from Edo.
Yes?
Yes, from Edo State.
Is Okotiebo?
Yes.
Yeah, he was the Minister of Finance. So all those people were educated. They were able to struggle for the independence of Nigeria. Why? Because they were educated. That is the bottom line. So our independence, our becoming a Nigeria today is not, in fact, Nigeria could have become independent earlier if we've had enough human capital. I remember this man, Enaoro, he moved the motion for independence in 1953, that Nigeria should be independent by 1956. But it was turned down, so to speak, by some of the representatives that Nigeria is going to be, as in quotes, independent as soon as practicable. And we see the problem until in 1958, what's the name? Mr. Remileku raised the same issue. They raised the same issue. And until Tafawa Balewa presented it, that was when it was granted. There is a problem we are facing. And I'm going to summarize my point. There are 5 main challenges I've found in Nigeria. I'm not going to just talk about the problems. I want to look at what I think is the solution, and I leave the rest to you. The first problem, this is HDI, Human Development Index. It is calculated by income, that's GNI, plus level of, that's life expectancy. It will surprise you to know that today, Nigeria's level of life expectancy, in fact, is the lowest when you compare it to many other sub-Saharan African countries. I don't know if you can find Nigeria on this chart. Here you have high level of development. The closer it is to 1, the better. The closer to 0, the worse. Can you find Nigeria?
Close to Pakistan.
Close to Pakistan.
My God.
That's a problem. Please go to the next slide. Now, there is something that almost made me cry here. Now, this trend is Nigeria. From 1960 to 2016. If you look at this here, you will discover that Nigeria was above these two countries. But because we did not invest in education. Look at this guy here. This guy. This guy is Hong Kong. It was below Nigeria. But because of investment in education, what happens? You see that? They even beat Russia today. We have to invest in education, not just in education, in Nigerian education. Now, I want to talk about 4 things we need to invest in. 1, we need to invest in our women. Wow. Yes, as a man, I presented papers, I work on issues of women development, women and human development. The women of Nigeria are like 49% of the population today. And if you look at the statistics, about 62% of women in some regions, they don't even have any education at all. No education. We need to educate our women. All girls must go to school. Can I hear a clap if you support me? The second thing, education must get to the north. The northern has 53.6% of the whole population. Nigeria is 196 million, like I said. And the northern people, they're 53%. Who is going to vote? According to Socrates, if you are not educated, don't vote. Because you need an informed populace to make the right choice. Whether we like it or not, it will continue to affect us. If we build schools in the north, in the south, and forget the north, it will affect us. Educate women, educate the north. Educate children everywhere. I need to summarize now because of time. I prepared for 20 minutes, but I can't just show everything I have. Let's go to the last slide. Maybe. Yeah, look at this. It's surprising. Nigeria has the world highest number of out-of-school children, for God's sake. Beating India, that is over 1 billion people. Please, let's just go now. Then another thing we need to do is to change this guy. He's been here for since 2004, and I found a lot of errors there. I presented a paper on it last year, which was well presented. We need to change. This is the constitution of education in Nigeria. It's called the National Policy on Education. Please, just go to the last slide and just continue because I've already exhausted 10 minutes. Don't worry. Yeah, go. This and this, okay? The same thing we see with Japan after the Second World War. That's what you see here. Japan fell, but today it's risen. China, from 1970 when they introduced meritocracy, okay? Human capital, it increased. Continue, you will see Nigeria. I've shown you before. This is India and China, but Nigeria, look. This point is lower than this. So we are in education and human capital behind what we used to be in 1960. I think I should stop there. Thank you very much.
What a very informative presentation. Thank you, Mr. Bamidele.
You have a problem on the ground. You think of a solution. That solution took more than 20 years, including killing of Ken Saro-Wiwa and his group. And so many other lives were perished. Was that a solution? Now we have to come back to the table. What are the people? What can benefit the people? How can the oil benefit the Nigerian people? Not just the Niger Delta. You can satisfy the Niger Delta and you will still satisfy other Nigerians, if you are honest. There are simple solutions that can be, and take into consideration the fact that transparency brings trust to the government. I'm not talking about this current government. It's been an issue, a recurring issue. But I jumped into the Constitution especially because I know that if you don't correct these fundamental issues in the Constitution, the next government that is coming in is already programmed to fail. You understand where I'm going? So the next question, if I've answered that question, Niger Delta issue can be addressed very easily. Boko Haram issue can be addressed very easily. Herdsmen issue, they all have the same source. Poverty, disparity, marginalization, or whatever you call it. The Nigerian people are not feeling the wealth of the oil. It's not being healthily distributed. People are being ignored. The rich class believe there is no problem because they have the money. And the middle class feel, okay, we have some groundnuts. Why should we go for the poor? So the poor are the ones to come and take up the revolution. And we have complex issues reoccurring, and the population is going up, up, up. How many people do we have in the Nigerian army? How many people do we have in the Nigerian police? And what is our population? When you look at the number, then you will know that we have a problem. Very serious problem which we are not thinking about it. Right? But it will come to pass. Whether we like it or not, we have to address these issues. Now, the other issue is about
contract sharing.
The contract is talking about the appointment. Well, appointment.
I'm not talking about.
No, he's talking about. He's saying how will I qualify? Now, in the Constitution, is defined straight away that the appointment should reflect federal character. To be honest with everyone, I'm from the Niger Delta. I'm not satisfied with that. I'm talking as a Niger Delta. But when I came to Russia, I've seen Russia sometimes also, they have issues. Sometimes they represent or they resemble what we have in Nigeria. Every leader has a way to approach, provided within the framework of the Constitution. But so far, from the appointment that has been, I've not seen a full reaction of the National Assembly on these issues. That is number one. Number two, it can be the people, the presidency, let me call it the presidency so that we don't limit it to only one man, President Buhari. It might be that the people talking about national security, the way they see it and the way they want to control it, is only to the people they can trust. Unfortunately, within the Nigerian Constitution, as I see, there are question marks there. I don't want to qualify it because it's only the court or the National Assembly that's supposed to control those issues. So I hope maybe at least part of the issue you have.
No. What I'm saying is, you presented a paper on national security.
Exactly.
This one saying Nigeria is a multi-ethnic.
Exactly.
I said, how is this approach by the present, the humanistic approach of the present government, how does it impact national security?
To some extent, there are certain things. We have seen that when the president came in, he talked about most of the issues he brought in was security. Boko Haram has to be finished. Unfortunately, we have seen the results, but it's still ongoing. We have seen the problem. I can say the national issue is still in fraction. I mean, national security issue in Nigeria. We still have issues to address, many of them, including the Niger Delta issues. We even have multiple issues, kidnapping. It was still existing before, but we have not yet come to resolution of those issues in question.
Thank you, sir.
That's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, questions from Nze IK. Please, we'll take just a few questions.
Okay, we are talking about vote buying.
Yes.
My question goes like this. I have a mama at home, which is very old, and because I cannot send her money to take care of her, the only means she can get money during this political era or during this political environment, she has a registered voting card. And people in my region
nobody is feeding her. Now, she has this card, and she knows very well that if he get money, she can able to vote and use this money to feed herself for 1 month. How can you stop or educate my mama who does not have a source of feeding not to sell her vote and you vote wisely? Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions for Nze? Yes, sir.
My question is this. You said about the money, that they take a record of everybody they gave money. My question is, do you remember that money was approved by the government?
Yes.
And anytime they can account for the money they are giving out. Don't you think that recording is the amount of money they give out to the people, and they have to give account? That would be the account for them.
Is it? Are you asking as a question or as a fact?
No.
You say it has not happened before, or what?
I'm trying to ask you something.
Yes, becoming very, very relevant, very, very popular.
He says it has never happened before.
No. You see, there is corruption in the political process, but it has not come out like this at good buying, whereby some people stand by the corner of the voting box with money, waiting for people to collect money and go and vote. When you come and vote, you give account. It's a new phenomenon in our political process. It has not been there like that before. There is corruption. So what I'm trying to ask him, what actually led to this?
Thank you.
How do we come to this?
How do we get to this day? Any more questions, please? Only 4. Okay,
Now, let me take the first question from my good friend Ray about his mother. Now, I quite understand the situation your mother is going through. It's a general situation with all Nigerians who are financially disadvantaged. Her own is peculiar, probably because she has nobody around to help her. Alternatively, to survive, she may decide to sell her vote, which of course, with all respect to her, is her conscience. I pity the situation, but I will still disagree in total with that concept. By doing that, she has mortgaged the future for another 4 years of her children. Because whoever, like I said when I was making my speech, whoever that decides to buy vote is a very incompetent person for that position, whether you like it or not. Now, to educate her, thank God you're here. Financially, you might not be well to do, but I believe as a mother, you can still make something for her. So we don't need to deceive ourselves on that aspect. So you now go, you will take care. Or whoever, that's what it means. Please advise your mother or your sibling or whoever that is involved. Encourage the person not to. I thank God that the government is already making effort to pass this message using various artists, even the church medium and other, to inform Nigerians. The only way we can stop this is by educating the masses, spreading the message. The message has to go through. If we have a better Nigeria, believe you me, this vote buying will die a natural death. It will die a natural death. Let's take, for instance, we're here in Russia today. Go to a Russian now during the election or whatever, tell them, now, he will start looking at you somehow. Because the basic amenities he or she needs are there. She wants to go to anywhere. She knows the time of the bus. She quietly comes down, go there and stand in the bus stop. The bus will come, she will enter and move. How many hours have we been sitting down here? We can see the electricity is working. But can we ever talk about that in our beloved Nigeria? No. Coming to the trader money, in terms of writing down the individual's details, please and please. My colleague here said it might be a beautiful coincidence for the vice president and his party to have started this program and then banking on it right now that the election is there. But I can say with all sincerity that there is an undertone to that. We should not deceive ourselves, the truth be said. Yes, the House approved it. The amount to be expended was approved. But the implementation is where you and I understand very well that it is wrong, is vote buying. You cannot convince me that you registered my PVC number. The details are there. INEC is appointed by Mr. President. All of them, even I don't know whether the sister or the niece or whatever that is there, the collection officer. I don't know. That's what I want people say. I don't know. So I don't want to be very particular. So now, all these things now, when these things are done at the wrong time, that's where the disagreement comes. They are wrongly done. He might have a very good intention, but at this time to be implemented, that is where it gives room for doubts. Whether we like it or not, it gives room for doubts. And anybody, knowing fully well that in less than a week, we're going to have a general election, you now come, you take details of somebody and his PVC number. Tomorrow, where is the guarantee that the person is not voted for as against his or her wish? It's a common thing, rigging is a common thing in Nigeria. And we cannot disprove it. They have been rigging from the inception to date. So, now,
why has it gotten to this stage? Why is it blown up?
Why has it gotten to this stage? Why is it seriously blown up? The answer is very simple. Poverty. Poverty. You cannot tell a hungry man not to find a way to eat food. People are hungry. When you have 10 children and you cannot put a loaf of bread for them to eat in a day, so what do you expect? The man can sell anything, even tell his wife to sell anything she can for the children to eat. But that does not justify that what he's doing is right. But that is the fact you have to face. So until we come to a level in our society as Nigerians, whereby people can start living at least the minimal level of life, then we can now say, okay, such a thing, let it be. So thank you very much.
And when you made reference on the issue of taking the education to the north, are you in effect now trying to tell us that the northerners have been somehow along the line, they have lesser people that are educated when they are even at the hem of affairs, occupying a lot of strategic positions that up to today we know? I'm not against other contributions you made in terms of our children, our women, because our women are occupying even strategic positions as well. You know, when you talk about other European countries, but Nigeria particularly, yes, the women and the children need more emphasis. But I'm more particular about that northern that you made reference about. What informed your decision to even include the northerners as people that are undereducated in this area?
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Okay. My question goes to the future doctor to be, because when you talk about education, this is my field, and I've written about education. So you said you get your figure from the international NG room. This is the question I keep on asking ourselves, and I keep on asking the people who educate us, that how did they get this information that we have 40% women less educated in Nigeria? Nobody could able to answer this question. So I'm also throwing this question to you. And in addition to that, a question was posed on me some days back that how did I know that my father gave birth to me? It's a question. What I'm trying to tell you is that we don't even have information record. Information record, Nigeria is 0. So anybody who give you information that this is the specific number we have in Nigeria, it's not true. So that is that. Thank you.
Whenever we come about the issue of modern education, what I want you to respond based on what you define as what is education, what makes a person to be educated based on United Nations definition, number one, and secondly, based on the Nigerian Population Commission 2006 population census. You understand? If you put that in place, then we can know whether that percentage that UNICEF have given, is it right or wrong statistically. I'm a physicist. I know more about statistics and probability. I'm sorry to say I'm an engineer. Please, I need you to throw more input.
My question goes like that. Not quite long. ASU went on strike. How come, these are ASU, the academicians, the lecturers, how come after so many years, they've not been able to find a system? After so many years, these are the people we call intelligentsia in Nigeria, elite. How come, after so many years of managing the university system, they've not been able to find a system that can be self-sustained? Instead of every year, you see them haggling with government. And that leads to so many people who want to graduate, who went to school to graduate. Instead of 4 years, some of them end up being 6 years, 7 years. This problem is so perennial that it's as old as when we got our independence. How can the solution be found? If the people involved are the elite, the intelligentsia we have in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to commend our dissenters. They've done a very good job. They've done their own research and they came out with what we founded. Thank you very much for the methodology you used. But my own stand is this. All the topics that were discussed today, the foundation here is education. Either we agree with it or not. Because education gives you that opportunity to be more informed. And the more you are informed, the more you will be able to take necessary steps and necessary decisions at the right time. And I want to advise our PhD students, our master students here already, that what we have here that seems to be theory, we need to see how we put it into practice in our daily activities when we get back to work in Nigeria or wherever we find ourselves. But that is where the problem lies. It is not that we don't know all these things. We know them. When we become advisors to ministers, to the president, we drop all these ideas at the back of our at the back of our room and follow what they are doing there. This is where the consciousness comes in. My question will go like this. Okay. If you want me to ask a question,
yes.
Do you think that we have proper policy for education in Nigeria?
Good.
Do we think that our executives, the federal executives, the judiciary, the parliaments, are they working the way they're supposed to work? Are they not closing their eyes, overlooking certain things that are happening in the country because it's favorable to them for a while? I hope my question has been...
Yes, policy. You talked about the policy. In addition to that.
Now, if you are well educated,
you will quite know that in the 80s, when we have history in Nigeria, I went to a public school. As of present now, if you compare the ratio of public school to private school, surely we have millions of Nigerians outside, not schooling. And again, we never talk of minimum living wage, we never talk of minimum salary for our citizens. Because if all these are properly placed in place, that will solve the problem of insecurity, the problem of vote buying, the problem of education, and the corruption. And that also will motivate people to go into the interior or stop coming to the urban cities for full job. Because they are educated, they know what they can do. With the little knowledge
in conjunction with that, what our brother was talking about, quality of education, trying to see if you can tackle the question of if the youth are actually employable after they graduate from universities.
Education is quite interesting, and I want to thank you so very much. Now, like I told you, I work with data, and I could have given so much presentation on what I have here. If you have given me 1 hour, it still would not have been enough. Nevertheless, I think I should start with I have like 6 questions. How many minutes do I have, please?
4 minutes.
4 minutes, so I have to divide it. That's 20 seconds per question. Okay, the first one, education in the north. Yes, we have to. I'm not advocating. I'm from the south, but I'm not advocating that we should forget the south and go to the north. But whatever happens in the north affects us in the south. They have the largest population, and there is nothing anybody can do about that. A friend of ours conducted a research just last year talking about the total fertility rate. The total fertility rate in the north, the national level is 5.5. It exceeds that of the south. So in the next 10 years, they will still be dominant. And we know the law of democracy. The majority carries the vote. So if you don't educate them, okay, let me quickly chip in. A philosopher, Alexis Tocqueville, he said that we need a civilizing society more than the state. Because when the people know, he said we need good customs better than good laws. When the people know what is right, they will vote for the right person. We have this problem in the north. With more than 60% of the people, they don't know. Maybe the man over there is from the north, which I quite appreciate. I've met quite a number of them. So who do they vote for? So that is the question. That is why their education is our priority too. It affects us. That is that. The second question. Very well. The people in power are from the north. Now, the question still borders on statistics. Now, it is not altogether correct to say that in Nigeria we don't have data. I have been working with data gotten from the field.
Not in power, in ministry, everywhere, and they're doing well.
You know why it's interesting in the academics? Why you argue and debate? Because it makes your paper better. So it's very good. Now, the truth is this. People who give data on DHS, which is used by the United Nations, they are from the National Population Commission. These people are field workers. So the methodology is correct. They go from house to house. Based on samples, they go from house to ask people questions. What is the level of your education? So it is not that somebody sat down somewhere and they are being monitored because they are sponsored by USAID. That's the United States Agency for International Development. And everything they are doing is being monitored on the computer. So you can't just sit down somewhere and fabricate. We have data now. Now the question is, how do they get this?
This is the issue.
This is the issue. The issue is that they don't have to go to every house. Like if the doctor wants to know whether a person is HIV positive, you don't drain all the blood in the person's system to test. You need just a fraction. And from this fraction, you can generalize. And that is exactly what is done as far as DHS is concerned. You understand?
Excuse me, please.
Yes.
Based on my question.
Your question now.
I'm trying to. My question is, based on what he says that you give emphasis to the North.
Yes.
Then, how can you compare the National Population Commission, what their definition of education?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Then the United Nations definition of who is educated across the globe, and the data you give that UNICEF. I'm not arguing with your data that because that you got it somewhere else. But how can you share more light on it? And the second point of correction that I think you misplace some agencies of government. National Bureau of Statistics are the one responsible for figuring. No, I'm trying to. This is what is happening. I'm sorry. And if you are counting per head or something like this, let me give you an instance. I come from a family that we are. I'm so sorry. We are 23 kids in the family from a single person. 11 of us are graduates. We just have 4 presently in secondary school, and the rest are about to graduate. You understand? If a single person with that population, just 2 wives, a single man, with that development, and we have more and more families that are highly developed like that, and both girls and guys are schooling. You understand? This, if you say that you are counting per head, how did you take the tally? What kind of distribution do you use? Is it out of the discrete distribution or the continuous? This is what we are.
Please note that, yeah, I know we are all matured. It's very good when papers are discussed like this. And it's very good that you raise objections. Now, National Bureau of Statistics are not in charge of the census. Who is in charge of the census? NPC that is in charge of the census is also in charge of the NDHS. And they are the only one that is constitutionally empowered to conduct censuses and surveys in Nigeria.
How will you take the approximation after 13
what MBS does is this.
19 years.
Okay. Every 5-year period, 5-year interval, they conduct censuses. I'm very, very happy and I'm overwhelmed. Because it appears that I don't know about the past so much, but I believe there are elderly ones here who can tell us about the past. The past has been laden with the fact that many youths, or many of us don't like, when it comes to Nigeria, say just forget about that thing. But today we are talking about it, which is quite good. I want to appreciate everyone who, in one way or the other, has raised the question. I believe it's all towards national growth and development. Now, I think that you should also try to also check the sources of data from the United Nations. Where do they get their data from? Do they just sit somewhere or they get it from somewhere? I think that would answer so many of those questions. Like I said, I'm a political art. I'm a population analyst, a demographer, social demographer, so to speak, and I work in the area of women's studies and human development. Okay, so when I talk about data, I've done my research and I've also done some. You might not agree with it, you understand, but Nigeria is changing. I want to believe that. For the fact that we are all here and we take, this kind of interest in the country, saying that I'm seeing a new Nigeria, a Nigeria that is positive, that is blessed, that is glorious, that is progressive, and the Lord will bring it to pass. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so I want to use this opportunity to thank all our presenters. I will give you time to talk, but not now. It will be after the debate. We will look at the time, if we still have, because I know a lot of things will be there. I understand that. The next program we have in our agenda right now is 2019 general election, continuity or change of current government. That will be the topic of this debate. I want to also ask us to please maintain decorum as we call on stage. The following debaters. So permit me to call on stage Ambassador Okon Great Okubodo Raymond, a lecturer, Department of Engineering, Economics and Business Management, Space Technology, People's Friendship University, Russia. Then is editorial member, International Journal of Engineering Movement, Science Publication Group, New York, United States. A member of Association for Engineering Education of Russia, Ambassador National Youth Council of Nigeria, Asia Continental. Please, a round of applause for him. I also go on stage. A very vibrant lady, a woman, a mother. Is it Mrs. now? Yes, it's Mrs. Queen.
Go ahead.
The CEO, Smart BSc, Business Administration, MSc student of Economics of Natural Resources Management. Today, please. And welcome and please for her, please. Also in our list, another distinguished scholar, vibrant person, in the name of Ajimijere Olabode Jones, a student in Uday, BSc in Civil Engineering, Business and Industry Management in Review, Executive Member of Asian Ambassador, NYCN. Welcome on stage. The last but not the least, please, I didn't see this name very clearly. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it. If it's here, then I will read it from here. Okay, Malan Jamal Cheru, National University of Science. Oh, okay, wonderful. Please welcome him. Technology. Oh, that is good. That is great. You are welcome on stage. Thank you very much for coming. Like I said before, I want to also remind you again. Please, can we clap for them, please? I want to tell you again that this time around, this is not presentation, this is debate. So, number one, there is no hate speech, like I said. Number two, we go straight to the point. But we just know that you don't have time. Yes, I will tell you.
The People Friendship University, Russia, Ruden, Department of Engineering, Economics and Business Management, Space Technology. Yeah, I'm for change because everybody needs change. And when we talk about change, like you can see on the screen, are we talking about negative change or we are talking about positive change? Under positive change, because as human beings, we all want positive change, not negative. Then, if you look at my work, you will see that under the positive change, we talk about development. Then, in the negative direction, we talk about people are suffering. Infrastructure, not enough shelter. Employment, unemployment. Good life, poverty, security, insecurity. These are some of the things we should know. And I'm not going to talk about politics here because I'm going to be neutral and give my solution to the problem we have. Then, if you look at the board, you will see that one of the major problems we have in Nigeria is lack of data information. Then, I propose data information as one of my solutions. Why did I do that? You will see that when you have data information, it means that every one of us here, when you have a child, what we call information booklet, like what they do in other European countries and Western countries, this child can be registered in that book to know who is father, to know who is mother. If you have another child, you can register that child in the same data information booklet. By doing that, it means that you are providing reliable information, not only to yourself, to the government. And when people want to make a research, when you go to this family, when they bring this data booklet, you can able to identify that I have a child, the name is Raymond, registered boldly. And this database will be working hand in hand with the government. I think by doing that, it will now give you a summary how to know how many numbers of children are up to so age that are able to enter secondary school or primary school. Then, when you know that the numbers are growing, it will also give us to build more university, more school for our children to obtain education. This is what I suggested. Then, continue. Then, in summary, you can see my diagram illustrates how to plan for future Nigeria, our children, and how to make sure our Nigeria work again. And I think this is a summary I have. I'm not going to criticize, like I said, for any government, but this is a solution how we can move Nigeria forward. Thank you.
Great Nigeria. My name is Ajibi Jirolabodi Jules. I'm representing the next level, called the organ of us that is not change, but it's not continuity, but next level. I'm supporting this government to continue. I don't need to write data of anything because it's something physically seen. As far back, I'm not comparing Nigeria to a level of Russia as in development. But as far back from 1999, when the democracy has started back so far, as a government who have started a development or everything, they have performed law and everything. I see this government, the present government, as the best government that ever come to Nigeria, have good meaning for Nigeria and Nigerians. In this sense, I will continue in this way. When the Minister of Power working and this thing come on board, the first thing he did is going to the previous government, the plan they had for Nigeria about the road and everything. It comes clearly to the whole world that the government has a good plan for it. So for that reason, it's not going to move any other plan, so I'd rather continue on that plan. That is one. This government, in the aspect of promise about the infrastructure, security, and what's so called, we try to deal with the security aspect. I want everybody here to understand that there's no computer or electronics that can make a security valuable for us except you human who is in charge to monitor the computer or anything. The problem, the present government has tried a lot, but the problem that the human, which is the Nigerians, have not changed. So for that reason, the government could not get 100%, but I can credit it that they had 70%. As the rate of park in Borno and other areas, which I have not visited according to information, where some local governments, about 30, are under a stage of the terrorists. The government has tried. Today, they only sneak in and sneak out and do some bombing and go, which actually there will be a development about that gradually. In the other area, which you understand about infrastructure, I will come in the area of the, you said, there's like past people say about market money. Market money, it looks like a trader money, it's a market money as well. So trader money is a market money. Yeah. It looks like a political strategy of winning an election. But if you are a person who has been in a geographic area whereby like a community, if a community, some community in our area is just like a 10 million, it's not up to 10 million naira in the entire community, both the rich and the poor. But this government will take down like 10 million into that community. And that moment, if you know what the business will look like there, you won't understand, you talk just to eat. But by buying and selling, the people will make more money. And that's a good work of the government, whereby they can get to the root of those villages where people think of food they are going to eat while they are going to school. One rich man, son or child is going to eat better food while they will be hungry. But they go to the school, they'll be able to focus because there's a provision for that. They will study and they will eat. With this reason, I see so far there's a lot of thousands reasons which I've not been able to naturalize right now because of the short time of it. Like I'll talk to my colleagues here. He's a civil servant, a civil engineer. He knows how, if you are as a construction, before you deal with a one cement to construct maybe an road, you know how many miles and how many days those things are supposed to be complete. And with the process of development and everything, infrastructure takes time. You might approve it today. Some projects they are approved. The capital is not really there, but they approve it, and based on time, if they will do 2 miles before the next year will come, they will take from there and ride on. So those people, the government has had a good plan about infrastructure. So if they have a good plan about infrastructure, there's a way for it. For this reason, I support the next level, and I'll continue with them because I know the future is bright. Thank you for.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Queen Agidi, Mrs. Queen Agidi. To be very precise, I'm for change. I mean change in administration. Because I'll be judging between, there's very big difference between intention and action, plans and execution. Present government, which is APC, they have well written down intention and plans. I think where they have problem is fulfilling their promises, the execution. What is expected of Mr. President and his administration is not too much. Though he promised to improve economy, security, and fight corruption, I think the major expectation of Nigerians, for example, my grandfather have always believed that there is a man somewhere in the north that is the savior of Nigeria if given chance. What was his expectation? Is a very disciplined man who will be able to fight against corruption, and secondly, security. Those were just the 2 major expectations. And of course, try to sustain. If he's not able to improve economy, he should be able to sustain and maintain it. But unfortunately, due to some inability like his health, we all know that he has challenges. And there's a proverb that says a group of sheep led by lion will defeat group of lions led by sheep. Leadership is very, very important. He may be capable, but for now, he is not because of his personal challenges. I think it's better he allows another person take over from him. He can state down his intentions and allow another person to run the race. He should pass the baton. Why do I say this? He came in. You cannot blame your failure on another person. All the excuses of this present administration is PDP. We would have done better if the past. We know the reason why we voted for you was because we are fed up of the past. We needed something new, and he has not been able to deliver. But if I still have more time, I think the problem of Nigeria is beyond 4 years. We need to, because he said we should provide solution, we need to work on our day-to-day training of our children. They say charity begins at home. the family have a very big role to play. We should train our children in a way that they are patriotic. They have this mindset of when I...
This slogan, next level. Yeah, I'm not a party card carrying member, but really I'm in support of the continuation of President Buhari. I have all reason to talk about that, but based on the symposium discussed here, there are enough to make points and to fish out a lot of things that lots of Nigerians don't know about it. First and foremost, we discuss about economy, which is quite fair. Security, also fair. Issue of politics, it's also fair. But the best among the best is about the education, in which that it's even create a faction where we realize what is our problem and how are we going to solve that problem. But because of time factor and all of us, some are past researchers, some are present researchers, some are prospective researchers. We have to know where to lay our emphasis on. Like, for example, I'm going to, maybe within my, if time permits, to discuss all about it. What my favorite colleague have discussed about issue of education. I raise a question, what is a definition of education? If I might remember, which I have a complete copy of the 2006 census, it defines a Nigerian educated with at least primary school leaving certificate. While the United Nations definition of an educated person, it says that it's someone that can read and write as a language that is being spoken in at least 5 nationalities. Means that 5 different sovereign nations. This is it. Then getting back to the to the UNICEF, is it not a contradictory data from these 2 definitions? Number 1 is our constitutional right. Number 2 is the United Nations agreement that Nigeria is a signatory to that. That's it. Then from there, we know where our problem is laid down upon it. I'm a Nigerian. Out of the 36 and plus 1 state, I'm opportune to be in 29 states across the nation for 1 or 2 reasons. I'm so disappointed that a Nigerian living in Lagos that has never been to Abuja will be the one that will be analyzing security situation in Borno. While I can drive from Borno to Port Harcourt, I know all the routes. If there is crisis along the way, I know where to channel to the other side. I can also drive from Sokoto or Kebbi, even the extreme end. That's places like Siyawori side after Jiga and the rest, down to Port Harcourt. I know all the axes. We are Nigerians. Doesn't mean that because that I'm a Muslim and everything, but I come from a place whereby ethnicity, injustice, religious differences, and hatred exists since the inception of the 1999 democracy. I'm from Jersey. We have had never experienced a dividend of democracy. So these few 3 years, even people that are agitated about herdsmen crisis, what we are voting the present government back now is the peace that we have gotten for 3 years. I have partaken at this panel in 2009, October. I presented a paper as a memorandum to them. I presented a paper on the House of Representatives Committee on Crisis in 2008, November 2008 crisis after election, whereby a sitting governor, I'm sorry to say, I'll call name and give information about it, and I'm not scared of it. He gave an order to shoot on site while people have gone out to the market, to their normal businesses on Friday morning after the election. Well, on Thursday, we have a 800 killed people. They went into house out, using tear gas by the security men, fishing out youths. They've been in prison for 8 years. For 3 months, that's 90 days. Nobody have ever talked about that. Is it because that we are Muslims? This is a question that we have to throw to everybody. I'm not saying it like there are things that are born in, and that's the truth. This is the security problem that we had in the country. Herdsman crisis, it's an old issue. It lasted even before the colonialism. But we know how to solve it commonly. When a sitting governor was saying 70 people, what have they said when 800 people were being killed within a single night? A lot of clergy have made a mistake, shouting on the media. These are things. Then followed by this, the security issue, and having a porous border in the north, that was the primary issue that Babangida took over in 1985. Because that the French, as an international body, threatening Buhari, if he continues with that war against indiscipline, they will block both Niger and Benue. This is the primary in that Babangida is even proud of it, that he took over from Buhari. And he jailed him. If to say that issue of corruption has been taking place since then, not hard to go by saying that Gowon was corrupt. You understand? Buhari took over saying this is corrupt. But presently, my support to him, in every political situation, I'm not an APC member or something. There are political compensations, number one. Number two, we are now fishing out the probe, trying to put things in place. At least we have to be appreciative. You understand? Look at what are the chances that we are going to give. I'm a youth. In 2007, I'm the first person that started Back to School project by taking school kids in the street of just back to school. Out of my savings that has been sent to the university, what I save per semester. And now it's a global issue. I name my project Educate My Community through Live Africa. I was a youth leadership program member, alumni of Live Africa. I have never seen someone as a Nigerian as a threat, except if he came out to show hatred based on lack of understanding our differences. We are quite different. That's why when I'm presenting myself, I present myself as who I am, and whoever want to respect me, he has to respect me based on that differences. If you respect my differences, definitely the result for the good is good. I have to pay back. I think with a little, because of the time factor, that I can talk more about it. Please, I think, may the House permit me to just hand over the mic to the moderator. And we are free for everybody to ask a question that is just not related for them.
Thank you very much.
Remarks. Yes. Thank you. So please, we'll take remarks.
Wait. Where are we?
Remarks or questions? Questions and remarks. But please, okay, let's go for question first. So remarks, because remarks can take longer time. For question is brief. So let's go for questions. If you have questions, just throw questions. Please.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I have only 2 questions. One is for Raymond. You are proposing for a new child born to be, registered with a booklet as a solution to our data problem. That's your proposal.
Maybe you didn't get it right. I said that there is a need for
booklet.
Data information booklet.
Yeah. That's booklet. So what I'm trying to, ask, we are at the information age. Technological age. And you are proposing for a booklet. What happens if that booklet is lost?
I think it's just a electronic.
Wait. Then my question to Shehu. In your summary, you say that you define yourself who you are. and that you want others to respect you for who you are. My question, the world rotates in the wheel of give and take. Do you respect other people for who they are?
Thank you.
My question is to Mr. Shehu, yeah? Mr. Shehu, my question is to
Malam Shehu.
Malam Shehu, sorry, Malam Shehu. My question to you is that the first question is about education, yeah? Education, you disagree concerning the data that Mr. Ola gave the other time, and then you give your definition of what education is, but you didn't tell us actually, do you disagree the fact that the North is less educated and the women, what he said, you didn't go into that, you didn't answer that question. And then the second question I would like to ask is, what is the solution you prefer for the herdsmen program?
Thank you very much. Next question, please.
Well, thank you very much. Well, just to say that, of course, we expected debate and turn to discussion. I think it's very good thing. I think Malashew was also mentioning that is voting for this current administration, or preferring that the current administration stays on because of the peace that you have in Jos now. Because it's giving an example of where it comes from, which is a good thing. So, but one thing I want to ask is this: the peace in Jos, because you need to enlighten us a little bit. I know it's always been clash between the Hausas and the Borons or something like that. The Borons. Yes, can you enlighten us a bit? How does that peace work for the two ethnic groups, not only for your group of ethnicity? That's the question. Then the other question is for Bode. You mentioned you're emphasizing the infrastructure and the corruption program of the current administration. How do you see the level of the inclusiveness of this program in terms of the widespread involvement of people across the regions? Because when we talk about federal character, we know what it means. That is, unfortunately, in the constitution, it's not defined as the spread of appointments amongst ethnic groups or amongst regions. It says states. So, and I know in the North we have 19 states. So, as a result, they always have more appointments than the South. That one is clear. So, but the issue I want to go beyond the definition in the Constitution. I mean the spread of the current administration in the programs they are doing. But how do you assess it?
My question is to Mr. When you say that the current government has improved the economic phase of the country, now what is its take based on the current statistics? Unemployment in Nigeria since the inception of this government has increased to over 20%, close to 23%. And as a result, poverty has also increased. Yes. And it has also been said that by next year, or this year, Nigeria will be the poverty capital of the whole world, overtaking India. Yes. So, what is your take on this issue of unemployment leading to poverty, and also a factor that is instigating vote buying in Nigeria?
My question goes to Bode and in fact, Malam Shehu and then Ray. First of all, to Malam Shehu. When we are talking about security, when Rest Esolowo made his presentation, I think everything was climaxed and overwhelmed by the fact that everything has to do with the way Nigeria has gotten so poor and the way this wealth has not been evenly distributed. That even when money is being disbursed, some states suffer. Because there are some states that are called special states. We do not have to be ignorant of this fact. This is what is happening. And so the security system in Nigeria has been very, very porous. We shouldn't be blind about it. You see, in a particular situation whereby one particular state is being taken care of, it does not speak well of even development. So what I'm trying to say is that, like when you mention about Jos is just one state in Nigeria. But in Nigeria, to the best of my knowledge, we have more than 6 states. So what happens to the other states that security has been very, very porous? We cannot say that this security has been overrun. So what is the government doing now to accommodate all the states that are not well taken care of? That's what I'm sharing. Then, Engineer Bode, you see, the thing is that when you are talking about continuity of this government has been given, when they came in, they were on the platform of changing what the previous government never did. And in fact, they just stopped. Instead of continuing what the present government never succeeded in doing, they even got worse. So I do not see any continuity here that can even help the government, that can even help the country to move from point A to point B. Because enough space has been given to them. And when they came in with the platform of change. Nobody saw this change. That is the fact. And those change, giving them another 4 years will mean driving us to another place again. So the change is not there. Now the question is this. Having criticized the previous government, the past government, what miracle do you think can happen if they are voted back for the second time? That's your question. Then back to mine to Raymond is Raymond made a very nice presentation about database. I don't want to go into that because what Nigeria has actually said is not enough data recording, and that data recording has been why when the number of people that come into the country and the number of people that leave, we don't even have any record. All this was like what America is doing with Mexico creating war. Those are just 1 out of 100. But I believe that data technology you are talking about will create more awareness of people knowing and even help with security systems. So I want to commend you on that. That's not a question. Thank you.
My first question is to Shehu, yes? Yes, you said that you were comparing education systems, the education standard under the present government. I don't know if you really mean that it's improving or it's not improving. Do you agree with the present database concerning education that we have 13.2 million people, children out of school? And you said you are the first person to agitate for bring back the children to school or something like that. Don't you think this is one of the reasons why this present government should be voted out of government? That's number one. Number two, you said that before this present government, you haven't experienced something like protection from any other government except this one. And this government is really focusing on the northern part, protecting you people. Don't you think this is a northernization of the present government? Thank you.
Thank you.
Doctor. Thank you very much, the honorable speakers. One thing I'm happy about is that no matter the government that is in power, Nigeria is still one. As of now, we are talking. Thanks to them all. But my dear colleagues sitting down on that article, my question goes to you. I'm very happy that you guys are young graduates, at least minimum of BSc, well educated, with bright future. I'm so worried about the next step. I don't want to call it the next level, the next step. That there's so much energy you have put into obtaining good education, most especially outside the country. You suffer in Nigeria before coming here, now you also suffer in the cold, everything. What are the perspectives that with this change or no change, when you finish, to go back home and get a reasonable, payable salary that can take care of you, that will make you to say, yes, I study abroad, I'm just returning, I want to settle with a family. That is my one question to you. Number two question is that those of you who are for continuity, is it not time that you think it will not be necessary to that change that formations? That we don't say that, oh, I'm APC, I'm PDP, that we take the best of the best. Even from the other party, if we are actually clamoring for one Nigeria, God bless Nigeria, forward, is it not time we do such a thing that even by declaring state of emergency, economical development in that country for the next 5 years, is it not time we do such a thing? Thank you.
Engineer Benjamin Ibiene, I want to direct my questions to continuity. More
Continuity, okay, so take notes.
First result, my friend, my body, you try to make mention about infrastructure improvement or the system. I can actually tell you that I'm from the Niger Delta area. We don't have a road to travel from, I work in Abuja, to River State and from River State. Anytime we travel, we spend more than times 2 of the period. Coincidentally, the present Minister for Works and Power, he made a statement some years back when he was a governor. He said a serious government must fix power in 6 months, and now it's there. The road they've been doing from Kogi State down to Benin, there's no road there. We always pass through bush every time, and it's 3.5 years he has been there as a minister, and that road, nothing has been done. They keep on saying they are doing road in the north. I don't know where we are still one Nigeria. That's why I don't agree we are one Nigeria. One. Then secondly, Malam Shehu, you said there is peace in Jos. To precise a little better. Last year, before I came here 2 years ago, last year there were a lot of herdsmen killing both the two and Benue State. The present government has not made one statement concerning herdsmen and their hosts or their villagers, what is happening about herdsmen. That has not been mentioned. Then you said there is peace again in Nigeria, mostly in the north. I don't know whether we are having different kind of things, because we are working at Abuja. Sometimes we even go to Kaduna or go to Sokoto for some research work. Sometimes we don't even travel because of the security situation. I don't know whether the peace talking about is in another country like Nigeria. So I don't know. And then also to share again, you didn't mention about education. You said to the time you even contributed money to bring out people to go to school. Are you selling yourself or are you supporting the government? You won't talk about the government. There are no key points mentioned what this government have done for the past 3.5 years. Then finally, I want to talk about my friends that are talking about change or new government. You made some slides, very brief one, but they're not detailed enough to convince us that you want another government or you need Nigeria.
It's a good remark. Thank you very much. So the way we...
Okay. Yeah, I have only one question from Dr. Morris. The question goes that what happens if the booklet lost? Yeah. We all know very well that when you are working with booklet, what I mean booklet, first of all, you take people record manual, then you enter it into the computer system. That is what is done in everywhere. In case that book is lost, then we can able to enter the computer and bring this information out. Thank you. If I've answered the question. I think if I will make myself to very understand to the house, I study in People Friendship University and I work in People Friendship University. We have what we call booklets when you want to give students mark. First of all, you put the mark in a book. After that, you enter them in the computer. So nobody work without book
If you don't work, if book is not needed, nobody will produce book. I think if I answer your question, thank you. Okay, the general question raised by Dr. Bayomi is talking about what are the prospective we that are studied here, if we go home, to what can we do to live a good life. To live a good life. I for one, I believe in creativity and innovation, and that is what I've been doing. When you work on innovation and creativity, you will not only sell yourself, your work will sell your brilliant work. I think by doing that, you can even create job for yourself, but not only for yourself, for other people to work under you with a good innovation and creativity. Thank you.
Yes, answer only that one.
Okay, still the same of the possibility of getting a good life after here. I think if we are to be sincere with the amount we pay as school fees here, if you want to go back to Nigeria with the mindset to get a job, it will take you 10 years to get your school fees back, if not more. So for me, my personal plan is to give back to the society. I'm here not only to acquire knowledge for myself, to be able to feed and my family, but to be able to improve the present situation in the country. And by the grace of God, we'll do that.
Yeah, thanks. I will start from the Dr. Abayomi, the general questions about if we return back home after our study, what are the possibilities that we are going to get a job? Thank you. We are here for education in Russia, to be clear to everybody. Everybody that are being educated, it does not supposed to depend on anybody back to the nation you are going to. It might not be easy, maybe you being employed, but you can create a job for yourself. Like today, as I'm here every day, I think of something I can do if I get back home. I have the politics idea, and also number one priority I got is a business. Where am I going to ship in? When I get, I can get. I'm calculating I'm going to employ 5 people first. A little I have when I get home, that's the first thing I'm going to do. Either from the village or the rural area, I'm going to get it to work. You as an educated person is very, very vital for you to have to be creative. Second one about the revolution. In every country of revolution, we should check back. Normally, it takes a long time before the benefit of the revolution. We talk about Libya, even maybe Algeria or Tunisia or a country like that, when the revolution started, we know how it takes them before they come back. And as in this war, we don't need that. We have to work intelligently to get it to work. And we can, the young ones can go into politics like so where it started. It started from somewhere, be following like as a big man, following Abiola and the rest. I pick his picture a lot. If you have a mission, you have to work, and the mission cannot be completed today. That is for you, Sams. If it's not enough, you can help me. Secondly, my brother here, I'm sorry, you talk about unemployment in Nigeria and the vote buying.
No, I said leading to vote buying, not...
Okay.
Leading to
My answer to that is this. Unemployment does not start today, and every foundation has its time to be matured. Today we are talking about the present government. There's no working. Do you think the causes is because of them? Yeah, okay, I have time. Okay, sorry, but the questions are much for me. Okay. There's a program I attend. They say attack the forces of evil, not the person that causes evil. The problem of this very present government is not the cause of this government. So the only solution for it is for all citizens of Nigeria to come together and work a modality for solutions for it. By the way the government is putting down infrastructure, they should have the patience to get it. At the time it will get to the place whereby those things will not be thrown away. And the infrastructure will live there forever. That is for you. I may not meet your demand, but that is my own understanding. Sir, you said Dr. Tony Abogo. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce well.
You got it.
Yeah. You talked about if any possibility to eventually be elected back to the House, which is the present government. Yes, I believe they will, because their work speaks for them. In 2014, we remember when the former Minister of Finance are complaining that there is no any magic government that will come into the government that will be able to perform miracle with the way the government is misusing our reserves. And today, they are unlucky, they lost, and the other governments who think we have a lot of resources to make those things happen. They have a vision, but because of the misuse of our reserve and our economy, our resources, the government comes and they cannot make it up. Today, the oil bank, you know what it is there when the government is there, and when they came in after 1 year plus, you know what it is. So you understand, if this thing continue like this with a plan, like some days ago, the Abeokuta Railway and rest have started working, which is have been abandoned for years. Our fathers who have worked for a lot and makes a lot giving to the school, to the society, has come to be, they are abandoned by the PDP government who so-called themselves changed that they are coming for power. They have been paid back from the same government. This government that has nothing to meet up with their plans, infrastructure plans in the state. Right now, I will tell you, I'm not benefiting anything. I can tell you how I passed my life. I support this government because there's a bright future. If this government finishes, I will have a better government who can face it. It will be okay.
The next one.
Okay, sorry, that is part. Let me see. Who again? Okay, we have answered that. Sir, Dr. Okay, infrastructure, somebody talks about. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Engineer Ben. I'm sorry. When you are talking about development, we have two regions, that is south and north, which each region divided into 3 parties, which is the south, southeast, south, and southwest. We have a timeline to do anything we're doing. Like today on the Nomela Bridge, no, that is Lagos. Yeah, that is Lagos. Bridge. That is Lagos. I wanted to talk about the Onisha. I wanted to talk about the Onisha.
It's correct.
Niger Bridge, thank you, Mr. President. Niger Bridge, it has been awarded. Now, and people are working. As a construction engineer, he knows what it is to raise a pillar in a river. If you know what it is to build out one pillar, you should know that yes, the government are ready to work. I thank you, and I will remember. And let me give 1 point. At that aspect, this government really has 70% to be re-elected. Since he has been in the government, every state has an challenges, and the government does not dispatch any party, either from AGA, PDP, or anything. It gives every equal bailout for every governor. So I think that is what I understand that makes me know the government is doing well, and by time they will do better, and I believe we will appreciate.
I will start answering my question from the last question to the first one. The last question that I was asked was about the educational project. Am I selling myself out? Not being charged in the government for that. I've told you from 1999, since when we have the 7th September crisis, in 2001, we benefited nothing from the government. As university students, we made most of the times we are the one teaching primary school students. And for the whole of my life, I come from a philanthropic family. We are not activists. We didn't have NGO. We just work as voluntary humans. There is no place on earth that you expect the government to do everything for you. You have to make your own contributions. That's the truth about it. And the little that I have, that's why I see that I could make a change out of it. That was my contribution first to it. Then the issue of Hartman crisis, the person that asked me why the current government does not say anything about it. Herdsmen crisis has become a national issue when state governors come on media to start agitating over it for their own political interest. But initially, herdsmen from a crisis have been solved from ward head, village head, district head, before it even goes to local government level. In which that presently in Nigeria, we didn't have, it's assumed like we didn't have local governments in Nigeria. From that 2003 to date, we haven't got an elected chairman in just not local government. That's what even leads to the 2008 crisis after the local government election. This is it. Did I answer the question well, or you need more?
No, just continue with the next question.
No, yeah, there are things that, some trying. You understand? You can. My questions are many. That's why I start from there. Then, likewise, issue of when presenting, the person that presents security, quite all right. Whoever knows Taraba very well, peoples in Taraba, both the Chukuns and the Fulanis, are well armed. That's the truth about it. And in Plateau, between the Musheri and the Fulanis living in the same community, speaking the same language, in Bokos local government, between the Biroms and the Fulanis, both in Riom and Barikiladi, they are friends, they have intermarriages, they go out to rear cattle at the same time. But the crime that exists between them, that is what they normally lay emphasis and leads to ethnic and religious crisis by the support of the government in place, because that they use soft hand and use ethnicity to support it. This is the truth about it. There is no any fact other than this. The also foreign nationals have talked about issue of ECOWAS agreement over border free movement, and it leads to a lot of things. Those that have a legal knowledge, they know the legal knowledge, have known better than me. They have known what we have signed between that. And even recently, the president have recalled for reenactment and change of such laws. And likewise, I've always said it. Also, there is one of the presenter on the symposium that says that we shouldn't have the foreign element to come and solve our problem. We have to solve our problem within ourselves. In pre-colonial period, we have herdsmen farmers crisis and it's solved locally. We lived for 39 years, being solved locally. Even plus 16 years, solved locally. Why is it now is not being used as it was before? This is my question to the General House. Okay. Then also the general question about the perspective of change, perspective of change. Which actually, your question will be the last one. Just, I start from it. Issue of having a payable job. Due to what we found ourselves in previous years or 20 years or so, presently, I'm sorry to say, we have a shoe manufacturing industry owned by us. We employ the young locals to skill them, and we invest. We also have a shop in the market. That's what I did as a daily job, selling out our products in order to economically develop our family, develop ourselves, and also develop our community as well. You understand? And we prevent the younger generation to be into crime. That's why we're just being looked respected in the society. Like, for example, I have never benefited anything in terms of education free from the government. Up to date, we paid school fee and still we're paying. And we paid for our neighbors. Everybody that knows how the typical setting of the North is, we are very hospitable. I'm not saying this is the truth, because that I'm from the North. But something based on perspective or perceptions, people define us or based on who they meet. In every generation, there is a good person and a bad person. And whoever you meet the first, you couldn't have generalized and defined people to be like that. That's the truth. Then, coming to the, okay, there is also a question to you, Doctor, about issue of voting. Let me give you a scenario. I have a primary school mate, a secondary school mate. He's a graduate of water resources engineering. We are hoping by this hour, next week, contesting under the platform of ADC will get his own way to the National Assembly, representing our constituency, just not Basa Federal Constituency. He's not an APC member, he's not a PDP member. And he has just been motivated due to the confidence that he had, and people are willing to come and vote due to the implementation of card reader. And that's the truth about it. Then, also one of my colleagues asked me about the present government of modernizing the country, modernization of the country. The issue that he raised he asked me about the peaceful condition of, does that not go in line with modernization? The present governor of Plateau is from Shandam. He's an Ankwai by tribe in Plateau and partially a Jukun. Simon Dalong, he was once in 2000, from 1999 to 2003, the Speaker House of Assembly of the state. And the same person have promised that if we vote in, there will be a substantial peace in the state. But due to some criminal acts and some politicians that are running from justice, when the previous governor that was being in court since 2004 a judgment was passed against him, and presently as a senator, APC senator, serving in prison, then his predecessor, that he knows that he has done worse than him, try to mobilize those his followers among his ethnic group, the Biroms. It's not all Biroms that are not good. Because that the present Bongong Palace is being given, the land is being given by my grandfather, the former native authority of Jos. We are there before colonialists. Then the next question is about the issue of poor security situation across the state, not in a single state. Yeah, quite unfortunate. We had a lot of buried security issues on other states, and that leads due to corruption and issue of like smuggling across the boundary. Because that if you are moving from Shaki, going to Yauri, going to Jiga, going down to Migatari, down to Chad Basin, back to Mambira, these are places that they have a lot of deposits of mined products, and they are illegally mined in Nigeria. And those places have a lot of concentration of young people that when now the border is being closed, they didn't have chances to be doing the business as usual. And the people that invest will buy their product, like in the present situation in Zamfara. They have a lot of deposit of diamond, part of Niger, Kwara, Oyo State, but it's being mined illegally, and Chinese people, the Israelis, and so on. There are lots of foreign nationals that are investing into that. And those people now, since that the money is not, it's not easy for them to be going out with those products free. They have some cartels that have different gangs. That if they are against you, they try to attack your village in a single night to destroy whatever. Initially, we have a statistic of our security number per head. Our security structure is not enough to tackle the security situation. That's the truth. It's not enough. But at least, since that now the present administration have come with this every year 10,000 employment of policemen, and it has been regularly for the Army, Air Force,
and Navy every year they are recruiting other ranks and the rest. We are thinking as time goes on, we can meet up with that demand. But remember that most of Nigerians are into security jobs just to secure an accommodation, have a payment, end of the month salary. But they are not willing to serve Nigeria as it says that to serve our father's land with love and strength and feet. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. We didn't have that in our mind. This is it. Then, secondly, I think by Dr. Bashir, issue of education and headsman peace between people and the houses. I think I've touched some part of it. Already, we have identified our problems from Commission of Inquiry head by late Justice Nikki Toby in 2001. A white paper was being given to Dari. When Nikki Toby was in London, they gave it to him. A clear source says that it has been forged. That's why the white paper was not being implemented. In 2008, when late Erhardua inaugurated a committee of inquiry head by retired General Abisui, Jonah Jang, the previous governor of the state, took the federal government to court. And that case has been taken for over 3 months to the level of Court of Appeal, before Court of Appeal pass a judgment that they can be able to sit for that inquiry. And up to date, 10 days after the public hearing, they were still at NIPS, National Institute for Public Policy and Strategic Studies. These people have to be taken out through Kaduna State to Abuja. And the place that Professor Chuko, when I attend his international law from ABU Zaria, about indigenous settler dichotomy in 2010, he said that the question that they ask people that are blogging, who are you looking for here? They say somebody in quotes. And Professor Chuko is a Fulani man. If not with the security situation, as a professor in Nigeria of international law, you will have been no more for now. Then the issue of solution to education. Naturally, last month we discussed in an event about the education situation. We have a poor background of education system, and those that create the poor are those that were being given cookout in the morning and milk as breakfast. They were being given geisha, they have geisha in their lockers, have canned rice in their lockers, even as of 1979 to 1985. These are the same people that are ruling, and I'm asking all the people in the frontier, who among you, if you didn't benefit directly, someone in your family did benefited, why did you leave our country to be like this? This is a challenge to you. We are not the one that will change. You are youths then, and the same youths of Nigeria in the First Republic, they are the oldest person in First Republic is this person, the first president. He's the only, he's the eldest among them. All of them are within their 30s and 27. And the same thing, if people are talking about hatred and everything, Muhammad Ribadu, as the first defense minister, was the person that promoted Agui Ironsi to be the highest Nigerian serving officer in Nigeria and sent him for international mission to Congo. And promote Ojukwu to be the second. Why is it that if then we have a regional government as a parliamentary system, what does Sardauna done that he was being killed as a model leader? Okay. Issue of solution to education.
No, I'm not here for history.
To my own perspective, this is my own personal perspective, that I'm calling for each and every government, if it comes in place, I'm thinking that if we can put it in place, it will be a better solution. We always talk about restructuring. Like, to me, restructuring is not a problem, but are we willing to be restructured? This is what I ask myself. But if we are willing to be restructured, this educational program will really create, the solution will really create an effect to all the other sectors, both the health, economy, and the rest. First and foremost, we had primary schools that you can go to primary school. A student can stay for 6 years without even knowing how to write his name. And the primary purpose of primary education is not to know how to read and write. This is the least that we can do. But if a person can't write his name, then what do we expect about our education system? Then there is need to bring fresh minds. And most of us, like for example, I was being asked to teach to a grade. I told them, no, I can't teach. That's the truth. This is our problem, and I'm one of the problem. Yeah. Then the issue of your question, that the last but not the least, about the respect. I'm sorry for the whole house if I offend anybody. I do apologize for that. But frankly speaking, you know, I can't say who I am, but those that observe who I am might be able to help me to figure out who I am, so that I can be able to change. If I'm good, to be promoted to the next level. If I'm bad, to totally change to be good. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Joy, actually what I wanted to talk on what sorry. Yes. What I wanted to say is, he asked a question like, after all this education we try to acquire here, what becomes our future in Nigeria? What happens with what we acquire? And the truth, like, it's reality. So many of us, I remembered late Governor Alamesia brought some people, which my brother was a beneficiary of this scheme, to this place on scholarship. So many of them are doing very well in Nigeria. Exactly. But believe you me, they are not in contact with each other. Very few are. And those that, one way or the other, they have good backgrounds, they are doing very well, but they don't carry each other along. So yes, your question is very necessary. We will do this whole thing, we can gather together from now till tomorrow, but then we still have to ask ourselves this question. What is the end product of this conference? When we leave here, what becomes the reality? Do you understand? Because, okay, now we are talking about APC, PDP, and some people, whenever I say, I'll just sit down during election day, and I don't care who wins, and people will want to kill me. But then, but then I try to be realistic, because for me, if I want to go out to vote that day, I will not vote neither APC or PDP. I feel they've done their bit. Let the youth come to take. Yes, exactly. But then the reality in Nigeria runs a dual party system, whether we accept it or not. It's either APC or PDP. For me, I prefer let's form a coalition.
First of all, I have to thank you all the presenters, because your points are very, very viable, and I have to really appreciate Malam for what he has contributed. Despite the bitterness, that is one of the things I was talking about, that every Nigerian is bitter inside, and that bitterness had to be brought out. That's why I understand what you're saying. Nigerians need dialogue, and that dialogue can bring in so many solutions. We have a country of over 200 million, despite the fact that we are doing everything to suppress that figure, but we are above 200 million. I'm almost certain about that, but I don't want to go into that. What you have brought out and what you have contributed is very, very important to the future of the nation. But I will want to see a situation whereby any one of us who is capable of being in a position somewhere, somehow, we have to bring everything to the basics. That basics is transparency, honesty among ourselves, and first and foremost, it is impossible for a father who calls himself responsible not to know the number of children he has. And that comes to where he was starting. Nigeria needs accurate number of Nigerians. Everybody, now we have biometric details. We have to know who we are. We go to the vote, to the polls. We know accurate, the most aggressive. And when we want to train our children, we know how many children we have sent to primary schools, how many are being left out, and so on. So there are so many things that we can simplify, and it will, all the problems, like Dr. Bashir or somebody said, it will die a natural death. I mean, the problems we have. So thank you very much for your contributions, and bless Nigeria, and may God give us peace, a peaceful election, and a progressive society coming up. We have issues, but we have to address them. Thank you.
All their fellow Nigerians, I'm very happy to see you all have been here, and the positive arguments we have here. Looking forward to bring progress, unity in Nigeria. So I have only few remarks, right? Because I found out that what is killing our country, Nigeria, ethnicism, that's tribalism, vivid, open, hatred within ourselves. Secondly, I observe is religion. We should remove religion from the government. If you like, I even make a recommendation here that while we are on this Nigerian community, we should stop praying. National anthem is enough, because here, okay, we have atheists, we have Christians, we have Muslims, we have all this. Then why do we only pray Christians? No. If we are all equal, we say one Nigeria, let us remove it. National anthem is enough. Then thirdly, we have something like that is man no man. When we talk of man no man, it does not make the country to be more effective. When you pick someone who does not qualify to handle a post where it's not supposed to be, it's insincere. It's corruption. Then we're not moving forward. Then thirdly, we still have something like regionalism, right? Well, how do we say it? First of all, we come side of mother, for going side of the father. So we are talking here, and I think we have one mind here. So if we can use it positively, we can deliver. Then from this lady, what she said, right, was we have organization, that is my alma mater school. We are together in anything, any condition, any difficulties. Just phone call. The best they can do to be done. So some of our Nigerians here, they think maybe someone have advantage or not. No, it's not advantage. The advantage that if I have problem, I call someone. If you have, you call. Because the person that gets space information wins everything. That is what is life. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I will stand up because I have 2 minutes. I will make it 1.5. I want to thank all the speakers today. I know all of them individually, apart from Malam Sheikh, whom I'm meeting today for the first time, and probably not the last. I want to say that your contributions today were really vivid and quite comprehensive, an overwhelming statement of what attracted the focus of how we want to push Nigeria forward. I'm not, no, he will answer later. You will see have a one-on-one tete-a-tete with him later. I'm not a member of any political party, and I've always said it. I am only for a continuity of what can make Nigeria move from step 1 to step 2, meaningful development. You see, because even we that are in diaspora here, we don't even have the right to vote in the first place. So all the things we are talking here will only be channeled to them for maybe reformation or whatever. So we are just, because we are not indifferent to what is happening in the country, so we are just chipping in our contribution. Whether I like it or not, the sitting government will still come into place. But nevertheless, we are only making this contribution to help the country move forward. Now, having said that, you see, I want to agree with Abayomi of the fact that there is this mindset to have a perspective of what you want to do, even when you live here. We cannot be foreigners in a foreign land till eternity. At one time or the other, we will still relocate home. And the land point will be what you make out of it. For you guys that are youth, the problem actually that is happening is that there is no coherence. That's another problem entirely. There's no coherence and there is no this combination of thoughts on how you want to project further. Nobody wants to help each other. Everyone will be a master of himself. Just like what Mana was saying. You see, you have something down, then you can help the other person. And that is doing this person, and you school together, you exchange contacts. And that's the way you can pull it from there. Because this is not our fatherland, and we must have that at our back of our mind. Thank you very much.
My comment is this. We are judging this current administration. Next week is election. We pray that there is peace in Nigeria, that people vote counts. We know that things are not right. We know that things are, needs a lot of.
It's too bigoted.
Transformation.
It's too tribalistic.
A lot of, transformation in terms of implementation. We have said it all, that nothing new in Nigeria has been said since independence. The same thing, I went into the archive. All these things we are saying here were said the same thing. About the Awolowo, the Zeitways, the Tafawa Balewa, the same thing they were campaigning and debating about. So nothing changed. But the issue here is this: Nigeria needs to move to a better position where it deserves. But how do we go about it? There is an election coming. To my own belief, I know there are better options than PDP and APC. But unfortunately, the lower ones who are coming, they are not having the spread and the structure to be able to put them through this very hard political fight. APC was able to do that against PDP a few years ago
by coalition,
by gathering together. But this time around, we couldn't get such. So I'm saying that future is bright for the youth. But for you to get to that future, we need, exactly, you need to work together. The north, the south, the east, and the west, we are complaining of the same thing. Madam Shehu was talking from what he also, as a northerner, see the difference between the north and the south. They are also thinking that there are some, lashes and injustices going on everywhere. The same thing the south is in the west or the north. So I just want us to know that Nigeria doesn't start and finish in our locality. Know that every part of that territory called Nigeria is Nigeria. Anything that happens to our brother in the south or in the north is also happening to us as a Nigerian. So if we see each other as one in that aspect, we will be able to forge ahead and get a better nation. Because the nation we have been having problem in building since independence is because of this incohesion that we have. So thank you so much.
Good evening, Nigerians.
Good evening.
I'm very sorry. I will have to intervene. Why I interrupted was that the whole thing is like what Dr. Barichiro has just said, is that, you see, we are trying to provide solutions here. But the thing is that the mistake that our leaders, and we blame them to do, we make the same mistake.
Yes.
First of all, I want to congratulate and I want to thank the Nigerian community for organizing these things, for organizing this symposium and debate. But you see, the number one thing is that we are supposed to start at 15 hours. But we started when? About 2 hours late. Now we are not trying to, to make the time to, we are saying, let's stay ahead to bring the thing closer now. That's where the mistakes start. Most of us, we are very late. Yeah. Some of us, we live very far, and we have calculated, I'll be here, then I'll go and do some other things. Yeah. And that's the problem, where the problem comes from. You see, there is no discipline. Another thing I want to say here is, this is the moderator. The moderator, someone said at the beginning, when he said that he gave the president 5 minutes, he's the one who's giving him authority. Authority is in his hand. And if he says the president should spend 5 minutes for his speech, he has that authority to say that 5 minutes. Whenever he gives, so you are the next one, you are the next person to speak, and we have to follow this thing. That is the problem we have in Nigeria, because we are unruly, indisciplined, and without these things we cannot move forward.
Thank you.
That is that one said. Now, when I asked the question, Madam Shehu did not answer my questions. You see, because the questions were too many and probably the same. And why I asked the question is that, you see, like this herdsman of the thing, I was directly involved in this thing, because in the 80s I did mechanized farming in Nigeria, in a farming community, and there was a farming this problem of this herdsmen. Even my elder brother, when I talked to him, when I spoke with him in Nigeria, he said, so you had this problem? I said, yes, we had this problem thing. But he didn't know. So many people did not even know that there was this medicine had been there for a long time. But then, like we said, it was not like, that. Because I personally, I had the problem with these herdsmen. When they come into farms, they were not carrying ammunition. They had their sticks. They used them. When their cows just stray into people's this thing, like cassava, like what do you call it, they march on them and the heaps, and then they destroy those things. But within the localities, it was resolved then. So I said, this thing has been there for a very long time. And the question that I wanted to ask him is that if these people, we know that they are nomads, why not have ranches? Why not have ranches and then, this technology, and we are moving forward so as not to have this conflict with farmers and then the herdsmen again. That's a solution that we can prefer, and some people are already preferring it in Nigeria as of date. Now, why are they not doing that thing? Now, the other one is, what I want to say is that about the government of the present government. Now, people that are agitating for this government to continue now. Buhari himself, his wife said that there are 2 people or 3 people around him that are actually, ruling this thing. And the president himself, he said that he did not even know what is going on around in his government. You saw what happened was it in Kogi or something like that, and in other states where he fell and this thing. This man is not physically, he's not capable, he's not, health-wise, for him to continue this thing. It's seen, everybody sees this thing. You are talking about APC and PDP. All of them, they are just running, and it's the same party, they are the same people. So what are we talking about here? Let's give people who are capable and people who are credible use that we know that they are capable and they can do it, and let them do it. Thank you very much.
Highly heated like this because we don't normally have something like this. We used to have it once in 4 years, but now I think we'll be having it often so that we get used to it. Now, one thing I see in this kind of program, not only passing information of knowledge, but ability to withstand and absorb criticism, and also explain yourself, elucidate clearly so that people's emotion, mind can come down as a leader or as an analyst. And it helps us to grow skillfully in this kind of areas. It's very important for us. That's why many engineers, doctors, but they cannot explain many things to people to convince them so that people can join them. But through this program, you can now develop the skill, the ability to withstand all those things and to convince people. It's very, very important. And we will grow from it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone. I learn from you people. And I'm going to make sure most of you people, we are having an African event in next 2 months, and I will still invite most of you people. Please, when we invite you to speak to the Africans, because it's burning in me. Some years ago, that's what pushed me to go and begin to work on African philosophy in the area of human social development. That's my area. It's burning in me, and nobody will solve it for us. It's we that will go there and solve it. Nobody. Don't wait for anybody. Thank you very much. Please, we have some award certificates that we are going to present to all the participants. Number 1, our elder senior, the president, former president of Nigerian community, and also former vice chairman of the NIDO ILO and the board of trustees, Dr. Bashir Obasakola. He presented the topic on Nigerian economy. Doctor, we really benefit from your intellectual tank. Thank you very much. And the God will continue strengthening you. And we need you more. We need people like you. Please, anytime we call you, honor us, please. We need you because without you people, at least what we will receive today, we have not get it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Doctor. But wait, we'll still take picture, please, with it. And also, we are calling on Les Esenowo, Les, the chairman of NIDO, Russian Federation, and also the board of trustees, NIDO Europe, is also the person that we benefit so much in your intellectual tank. Thank you, Chairman. We really appreciate, and we need you. Anytime we call you, please call us. We need you, and we'll receive so much from you people today. Thank you very much, Chairman. Please wait. And also, this is the first time I met this man. When he was talking, I didn't know that he was this kind of material. But you see, we discover another person today, and we will carry you along. Bamidele Emmanuel Ola is a master in different fields, both in Nigeria and Russia, and also now a PhD researcher, and also a teacher, a lecturer. Brother, you are analyst. Unfortunately, that we are short of time. We have received more from your presentation, but we need it. Next time we present it. Thank you very much. And he's also a married and a family man. Thank you very much. Anytime we call you, please honor us, because we are going to have other programs and we need you there. Thank you very much. So wait for us, please. Thank you. Also, we are our Nze Ike Shibeze Ume is the secretary, welfare secretary, Nigerian community, Russia. Of course, we had the debaters, these men who stood that government need to move forward for the next level. And the number one for this side, Ajimi Jele Olabode Jones is a master student in Wooden University. We really benefit from your information and also your contribution, and keep it on. Thank you very much. And anytime we call you, please honor us. Next level. Next level. And also, wait. Also, the next. Malam, when we come, please, I want you to note this thing today. Because sometimes many people, they misquote words because they don't understand. Malam is a teacher. It's a teacher. And the way you don't put it to them, they don't even like, because you need to. It's a teacher. So, when they say it, some people thought that's an offensive name, but it's the one that even say, put my, please. If you don't put it, you offend him. So, Malam Jamal Ahehu, yes? Shehu, sorry. Malam Jamal Shehu. This man, when I first met him, I thought that he's a small young guy than the first year. But when he began to express and bring out the potentials in him, I hide myself. 3 years ago, I was in their university. I spoke for them when they started African Unity. We organized and said, start. And today is one of the strong after we did. So today I didn't know that we have such a material in there. And welcome. And your effort is appreciated. Please wait. What's happening? Also, Opobodo Lemon. The single man has fought the masses, the lecturer and also the researcher of People Friendship University, and also space engineer. We appreciate your contribution. Of course, the Iron Lady, small but mighty. Don't look at the physical, look at the inside. Smart pay. The financial secretary, the woman that organized anything. If you want to know anything about Nigerian community, you have to. Since you take over, at least we don't have empty pockets. Empty pockets. Anytime, you're always there for us. The woman who will stand the challenges, even when they are criticizing community. They say, President, you are driving like if you are a dictator. They say, this so some people are there. He will stand it. And today, he's contributing for the society. We appreciate your presence. Me, sis, Queen Agide. He's a married woman. He's a madam of his own. He has his family. And also, he's still contributing. Challenging men. We appreciate your presence. You have impacted us today. We benefit a lot from your intellectual time. Thank you very much. And they will also ask, anytime we call you, please honor us. Please. And of course, the moderators, you know, it's not easy to, when everybody wants to talk, but it takes wisdom to share it. It's not easy. If you want to be in this position, even to speak, it's a hard work. Yesterday we were in our bad day, and one of the big boys from the Russian Chechnya, he could not be able to speak. He had the best gift. He presented the best gift among everybody, the big signboard to the university, but he cannot speak. He said he's afraid. He was shaking. It's not easy to speak to people, talk less of answering what people are saying. But this is a graduate. He was saying yesterday in our hall. You see, and this is the person that stands with the president always. Their president is always with him. It's not easy. So, when you see those moderators, appreciate them. Because when we call them the sacrifice, we didn't pay them. Donatus Obala, this is the PhD researcher. We appreciate your effort. Although your second have left, Engineer Ike Amadi, we appreciate, please stay in this thing. Also, we are informing the House through our Facebook and our website. Because ending of this month, we are going to have Nigerian Community General Meeting. Now, our first ID card will be shared in the General Meeting. Those who are not opportune, maybe to have it. It's a part of database we are talking about. Nigeria, we are forming a database. You may be an elder or stakeholder. Please support this program. And in a few months, somebody will take over this leadership. We are privileged to serve for almost 5 years now. And in June, somebody will take. And if you didn't play your role, the wrong person will take over. So come and take your position so that you have a better leader. But for me, I think it's enough. I will support it. Thank you very much. Ending of the month, we are going to have our general meeting. And the May this year, we are going to have Miss Nigeria. Is going to be hot. We have not forget about it. Some people thought they have died. No, we haven't died. We are promoting our ladies, not only presenting them negatively. We are going to present. This is not only for students, but all ladies. Please support this. Anytime we come to you, support it. Thank you, and God bless you. If you need to have our ID card, we don't register. Just pay your dues, and the electronic ID card will be issued for you, and you don't need to fill form anymore. It's already in our database, and we are not too strict to demanding that have problem you must be. No, but we are still helping. But a leader may take over and they stand on this position. If you don't have it, they don't have anything to do with you because you don't believe in them. Leader change. Maybe the person that will come may have plus and also have other minus which shall have plus on it. But you must. Let's believe in our community and give our support to it. Let's take picture, please, with the